Yeah. You ignored all the warnings. Try to get your wisdom of everything. Now it came down to this. It's a wrap. Woe to who desires the return of the Messiah, cause he ain't picking flowers, he ain't singing with the choir. Solidified destruction, it was written and was prophesied. Beat them fools to powder, that was spreading all them lies. A day of darkness and the gloominess, you pray for it, now you in this. Smoke from that fire in the land, well it's consuming it. Salt pillars, lots white, mostly came from y'all strike. Ignoring all the warnings, count them up, it equals lost light. Disturbing when you pictured it, but you never considered it. Yeshaya full of rage, got it hotter than a fire pit. 1,000-something soldiers getting booked, letting off some steam. That white horse galloping, it's hard to hear from all the strangers. Yeshaya with that sword out, now business getting sorted out. Every knee gon' bend, it's more than feelings getting poured out. Who is this from Bozo with his garments dyed? That ain't why gavel slams, now they like, whoa, cause it's hammer. It's the return of the Messiah, it's the day that you've been praying for. Eyes blazing fire for revenge on that final woe. Man, you don't want no smoke, that's what he looking for. Man, you don't want no smoke, that's what he looking for. The return of the Messiah, this the day that you've been praying for. Eyes blazing fire for revenge on that final woe. Man, you don't want no smoke, that's what he looking for. Man, you don't want no smoke, that's what he looking for.
Who is this upon a white horse? Coming down to judge and to make war. Very late, a day that you don't want to see, but you praying for it like you understand prophecy. Joel 2, none shall escape. No. The army of the Lord, none shall break. No. They running to and fro like a thief. Clothing fine linen, white and clean. And it's written, Lord of Lords, Kings of Kings, here to execute judgment just to set the captives free. He coming for the dragon in that scarlet colored beast. Time is up, bro, let the fowls gather for the feast. It's darkness, none shall give light. Like Egypt before we took life. Why is he red in this apparel? Vengeance is of the Lord, what I tell you. Listen, it's
the return of the Messiah, this the day that you've been praying for. Eyes blazing fire for revenge on that final woe. Man, you don't want no smoke, that's what he looking for. Man, you don't want no smoke, that's what he looking for. The return of the Messiah, this the day that you've been praying for. Eyes blazing fire for revenge on that final woe. Man, you don't want no smoke, that's what he looking for. Man, you don't want no smoke, that's what he looking for. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Khan, we give him blessings. Blessings, honor, glory, and power be to him that sits upon the throne and to the Lamb forever and ever. We are in the last days, and we don't really got a lot of time, and those that are wise today, they know that it's an urgent, very, very serious time that we're in, man. And we're supposed to be giving these people a warning. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be giving the people a warning, letting them know that, hey man, heads up. In other words, it's business, man. That's why it's called doing the works, man. It's business. This is nothing personal, man. So when we get out there for the Sabbath, man, and we get out there to do our things, and we want to represent the Word of God, man, we got to be out there as if our lives depend on it. We got to be out there as if, you know what I mean, we have no other choice, you know, and that our life, like I said, depends on it, like it rides on it. We got to stay focused. We got to give that warning. I'm going to start off real quick though, in John 2:15. So let me get something going in the background. All right, let me get something going. Now, Let me see if y'all can even hear that. Let me make sure. All right. You guys should be able to hear it now. All right, now check it out. We go to John.
Purchase your tracks today.
First John, my bad, y'all. First John, chapter 2. We start at 15. It tells you explicitly to love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him, man. So that right there is letting us know that we have to have a certain kind of mind frame, and we got to not become emotionally attached to the people of the public when we go out there. You know, it's not that kind of party, you know, because it lets you know about the reason why. It says, because for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. So these things is not of the Father. When you go out and you say, you know, if you say to yourself, I want to, you know, you want to save the world, you know, or you want to help out others, the way that you want to do it is if you actually warn them about a coming destruction, if you know that they are in harm's way. You know, same thing, like, you know, helping somebody out that's about to get, you know, oh, let me help you cross the street, old lady. You know, you might get hit by a car. Okay, all right. Well, that's because there's danger. You're trying to prevent her from danger. Well, we don't know that it's under danger. A lot of people aren't aware that there is a dangerous situation, or they don't want to acknowledge it, or it's being passed off as something else. Some things like global warming and climate change, or you know, crap happens or whatever. But these are not the cases. It's that we in the judgment day. We are in the days, man, where it's a real precious but risky moment to be living in. There's a lot on the line. A lot of things are being determined based off of what I mean by determined. I mean a lot of future occurrences are being determined based upon what we're saying and doing today. And I'm not talking about just like, oh yeah, we all know that that's common sense, that's the facts of life. I'm talking about the way that God now is operating with humanity. You know what I mean? It's deeper than that. It's deeper now. You got a lot on the line, man. So he tells you to love not the world, neither the flesh. I mean, he said love not love the world, because all the things that is of the world is the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. Is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passes away, and the lust is thereof. But he that does the will of God abides forever. That's point blank. You do the will of God, you abide forever. You make sure that you are doing what God told you to do, because the rest of the world is going to be destroyed, man. It's going to pass away. The likes of this world, the things that this world actually esteems highly, will not make it into the next phase of existence, man. And I'm not talking about you dying. I'm talking about when this kingdom ends, when democracy has come to a final end. The system that will replace democracy won't be anything like what we see today. And it's going to be coming from the Bible. It's going to be a biblical founded system. That will be the kingdom of God. All right. It says, little children, it is the last time. And as you have heard the Antichrist, heard that the Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. So you see that that is an indicator when you want to find out where are we at in the timeline of what days are we in. Are we in the last days of a wicked kingdom or not? Well, one of the things that you must be able to see is antichrists. And right now we have a lot of antichrists going on now amongst the blacks. There's always been antichrists, all right? But now amongst the so-called black folks, we got a whole new level of rebellion against God. We got people that turned all the way away from the New Testament. We got people that has villainized Christ, has taught others against Christ now. And these are actually doctrines that are formulating and actually taking hold amongst the black community. That's what and most of the denominations, I'm not going to say all of them, but the most of the other, not denominations, but I'll say other identity groups that black folks have adapted in these last few years, most of them is geared against the law, statutes, and commandments, against Christ, geared against the New Testament, you know what I mean? Geared against the whole Bible and all kinds of stuff. But nobody never says anything about anything else. They don't, nobody's knocking, you know what I'm saying, Buddhism, knocking, you know what I mean? Nobody goes off and knock anything else, you know, or whatever those people believe in. Nobody's over there trying to rise up and build up anything to invalidate any of these other religions. It's always the Bible. It's what everyone attacks, especially now. He says they went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us. And that's something, man, that you gotta be careful, man. You hear this? This is a group of people that goes out, you know what I'm saying? For instance, like they'll go out with the Israelites, you know, and then they would leave. You know, they went out from us, but they were not of us. Because if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out that they might be made manifest. Who was the determining factor that is actually bringing this out? That'll be God, man. God is making that manifest. He said, but they went out that they might be made manifest, that they were not all of us. But you have an unction from the Holy One, and you know all things. I want to see what that word unction means. Let's check out what that word unction means. The word is Christos in Greek. Unction. Anything smeared on, unguent, ointment, usually prepared by the Hebrews from oil and aromatic herbs. Anointing was the inaugural ceremony for priests. So, it'll be like something coming upon you, you know, something that is now added to who you used to be. Anything smeared on, an unguent, an ointment. Okay, so now this right here will be the word it's like an inspiration, or you have this urge. In other words, that's a modern word that we can use for it. That just get it straight down to the point. Or you can look up the word unction in the dictionary also. Just don't get it twisted. There's education in the English language. All right. The action of anointing someone with oil or ointment as a religious rite or as a symbol of investiture as a monarch. All right. So when you have a unction or an anointing, a whole new status, an elevating of mind. He said, but you have an unction from the Holy One, and you know all things. So that's speaking to a people that is not following after the world, not loving after the world, not following after the lusts of the world. He says, I have not written unto you because you know not the truth, but because you know it, and that no lies is of the truth. Just a sidebar and a little nugget. It lets you know what Paul was, the Israelites, the disciples, including the letters of Paul. This is the letter of John, but of the same caliber and the same meaning. The intent behind it was the same. They're talking to a people that already was sold up in the scripts. All right, they know the Bible well. That's the reason why Peter had to give a warning to Paul's writings too. He's like, hey, people that ain't really well studied in the scriptures is going to take Paul's writings and they're going to draw the wrong conclusions. That's a sidebar, but moving on. He says, who is a liar but he that denies that Yahushua is the Christ? He is Antichrist that denies the Father and the Son. All right. Okay. I'm done with that. All right. So now we're going to go to this warning that the title of the video is really about. But love not the world. That's the first warning that I have right now to give to everybody. And don't love the world. Don't follow after the lust of the eyes and the lust of the flesh, man. This right here is a very, very crucial time. We in the last time because there's Antichrist all over the place, man. Yo, Akmalak, shalom. My bad for leaving me out there.
Shalom. Maranatha.
I was just going through it. But yeah. Maranatha, shalom. So now we go to Proverbs now. No. Let's go to Ezekiel. We'll go to Ezekiel 3. Oops, excuse me. All right. Oops. My bad. I don't know what's going on. I think I hit something on accident. Hold on. I don't know what happened. Hold on.
Purchase your tracks today.
I don't know what's going on. All right, cool. He says at the top, let's just start at the top. He says, moreover, he said unto me, son of man, eat that thou find. He said, eat this roll and go speak unto the house of Israel. And it's pretty dope too, because before I say that, because before I even knew much of the Bible, before I knew much of it, we used to sit around in small groups, and we used to read. When I say read, I'm talking about all day on the Sabbath. I'm talking about nonstop.
Watch League of Legends videos ad-free and learn to win
Wouldn't stop reading.
uninterrupted.
There was
Try
never no
YouTube
side
Premium on us.
conversation. There was never we may have gotten off track on a topic. You know what I'm saying? That the topic probably grew into a different topic, and you know what I mean. We'll have to kind of wrap ourselves back around to what we're actually doing at that moment. But man, I'm trying to tell you, man, we used to read like 11, 12, 13 chapters. That's a process that the Most High God has placed upon the people that He's going to use. When He's going to use you, you would go through a certain phase to where you become a person that have eaten that role or memorized and really studied really hard the Bible. So He says, moreover, He said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll and go speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and He caused me to eat that roll. And He said unto me, Son of man, cause your belly to eat and fill your bowels with this roll that I give you. Then did I eat, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. Because it's always, it always sounds good. It's always a good deal when you first get into this new found identity. It's dope. You be like, oh, praise it, man, how dope I am, and how dope this book is, and how favorable God has shown upon us to be His people. And then you read it, and it's dope. You're like, oh man, it's all good. But then something happens. He says, and He said unto me, Son of man, go get you unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, whose words you can't understand. Surely had I sent you to them, they would have hearkened. So He's talking about a specific people that we might be able to identify even at this time, that was being able to identify at the time, even when Ezekiel heard this message. There was a people that was around them that spoke other languages than they did. That's not a concept that's too far-fetched to conceive. We're living at right now still. Yes, I'm talking about Spanish. I said it. Yeah, I said it. I'm talking about Spanish. He said, if I would have sent you unto them, they would have hearkened unto you. And truth be told, yes, that's a fact. The Mexicans will listen to the word of God way more than black people. Facts. I don't care. Black people ain't that dope. Those people are very, very, very disappointing. Very disappointing.
Oh,
Mexicans, they don't care, man. They'll stop and drop what they doing. You know what I mean? If you want to talk to them about the word of God, man, they'll be all in. They'll be all ears. The black folks, they got too much pride on them. They already think that, you know what I'm saying, everything's already in good case. They got the smoky syndrome, man. You know what I mean? They think that everything's a game. They think that everything's going to work out all fine. And that nothing is to be taken serious and to undermine everything. They undermine everything. That's the biggest problem to the Negro. Is that we don't take nothing serious. The Bible keeps calling us fools, calling us hard-headed. You know? That sums up what I'm saying. Or I'm summing up what the Bible is saying. Look, it's just that, like, man, it's very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. But He tells us, He said, whose words you cannot understand. If I would have sent you to these Mexicans, man, He said, man, they would have been sold up already, man. He said, but the house of Israel won't hearken unto you because they won't hearken unto me. That's the thing. So when you see this in the script, you're like, wait a minute, God is the same, and Israel seems to be the same too. You know what I'm saying? As in a stiff-necked and hard-headed people. All right. It says, for all the house of Israel is imputed and hard-hearted. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, okay. So just as God is the same, He don't change. Man, neither have Israel. Because you can see Israel on black people. You can see this imputed, hard-hearted mentality of a people group on the African Americans. Hands down, nobody else can compare. No one else can come to comparison. Not even close. So it's like, so then when you say, well, why is he sending us to a people and ain't even going to listen? That doesn't make no darn sense. What the heck? Wait a minute, man. I thought we were supposed to be waking people up. I thought that we were supposed to be gathering these people together. But the Bible's telling you that these people ain't going to listen to you. This is the same kind of folks that heard God speak out of the mountain. And they still ain't listening. So what makes you think you, to them, just some quacked out Negro with a Bible fetish is going to do for them? That's what they see, guys. People, they don't take us serious like that. They don't take God serious. Ain't nobody afraid. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nobody's scared of Him. God, people ain't afraid of stuff that they don't see. Since they can't see God, they have absolutely no fear of Him. They'll make Him up as they go along. Also, they will fill in blanks about what God is thinking or what He'll do for them and all that stuff. They won't have a verse in the Scripture to back none of that stuff up. And then when they do have one, they'll pervert it and twist it and misuse it so damn bad to where you can tell there's a spirit upon this person. You're like, oh, for you to get that out of that, and for you to think that actually applied to you, you got to be completely out of your mind. Because you had to read the verse, 2 verses ahead, or maybe 2 verses after that completely was crushing everything about what you do. People, you know what I'm saying, but they don't highlight those parts. They only highlight the part where God gonna do them good and they can live their lives blindly in sin. He said, but the house of Israel will not hearken unto you. He said, why? He said, people don't listen to me. All the house of Israel is imputed and hard-hearted. All right. Behold, I have made your face strong against their faces, and your forehead strong against their foreheads. As an adamant harder than flint have I made your forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, my words that I shall speak unto you, receive in your heart, and hear with your ears, and go, get you to them of the captivity, and to the children of your people, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus says the Lord God, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. It doesn't matter. In other words, stay business orientated when you're doing this. It's not personal. Who cares if they don't listen? Oh, well. Why? It's not. It's nothing bad on you. It's their bad. Their loss. Their mistake. Their oops. They invited that problem. It's never your bad. It's never not a good thing when people are not listening to you. Preach to them the word of God. It's never bad. It proves to you who you're really talking to. You let you know, like, oh, so we really is dealing with Israel. These is the people that don't listen. to the word of
Sign
God.
up for YouTube Premium and get ad-free videos and music.
So he
Try
says,
it today.
whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. He said, then the Spirit took me up, and I heard behind me heard behind me a voice of a great Russian saying, blessed be the glory of the Lord from his place.
Purchase your tracks today.
I heard also the noise of the wings of the living creatures that touched one another, and the noise of the wheels over against them, and the noise of a great rushing. So the Spirit lifted me up and took me away, and I went in bitterness, in the heat of my spirit. But the hand of the Lord was strong upon me. Why did he go into bitterness? He's going into bitterness because he got bad news about the people.
Right, yeah. That's what I was about to say.
He
Like
just got,
it came in sweet at first. It was, you know what I mean, it was just, he thought like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna get these people together. But then, you know what I mean, you keep reading, you realize, man, you just warning these people of the coming destruction. A lot of these 2/3 of these people ain't gonna make it out.
Right. They're not gonna even make it out. And it's going to be because they actually don't care. They have no fear. They're impudent and hard-hearted. Let's look at this word, impudent, because that's not a common word. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I really heard it outside of the Bible. So if I look, it's hazak, or hazak. You know, like that's a different kind of K in the Hebrew. It's like so it's hazak. Okay, cool. It means strong, mighty, sore, stronger, harder, hardest, impudent, loud, stiff-hearted. Okay, no. I'm not looking for the definition of the word hazak. I'm not looking for that definition. The word that they said hazak is, you will find the true meaning in the word impudent. Oh, okay. So that means I got to go into English to understand what the word impudent even means. So, impudent. Boom! Not showing due respect for another person. There you go. So they don't respect others. They don't respect your grind. They're not respecting that you out there talking to them.
You started with yoga for beginners.
So they're disrespectful and hard-hearted. Not easily moved to any type of real emotion. They don't have any real nourishing emotion. These people they're hard, disrespectful, and cold. That's how you can sum that words up today. If you're going to just be talking to somebody that doesn't know these biblical terminologies, and you're just going to just talk about Israel, you say, man, House of Israel, like these black folks, who's the Israelites, they won't listen to you because they don't listen to God, because these people are actually, they're disrespectful and they're cold. What? Like, pretty much, that's to sum them up. They're just disrespectful. They're cold. They don't care. That's pretty, that's some discouraging news to a dude that just now met an angel, and he told him, boom, hey man, this is about to go down, man. Read this book and go utilize that. I'm like, all right, cool, man. We about to be doing this. He's like, oh no, shut that down. They ain't gonna listen. Huh? They don't listen to nothing. Them niggas are hella disrespectful. What? Like, yeah. Like, what am I doing here? Why the trouble? Oh, you know, what's the big fuss about then? Well, he says, then came I to them of the captivity at Tel Aviv. Oh, okay, Tel Aviv. That's my first time seeing that. My bad. I'm not gonna lie. I was wondering where they got the word Tel Aviv from when they call that area in so-called, Jerusalem today. They call it Tel Aviv. I was like, what are you talking about? I thought the capital was Jerusalem. Well, they on some Tel Aviv stuff right here. And that's where they got it from. Just something I just found. He said, then I came to them of the captivity at Tel Aviv, that dwelt by the river of Kabar. And I sat where they sat, and remained there astonished among them 7 days. He said, and it came to pass at the end of the 7 days that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, I have made you a watchman. Oh, what? Son of man, I have made you a watchman unto the house of Israel. That's what this is about. He said, therefore, hear the word at my mouth, and then give them warning from me. That's what you do. That's what we do. We're supposed to give these people a warning. The warning that comes from God. Because God is judging the whole planet as we speak today. He's been judging it. If you ask me, he's been judging it since the beginning of that Wuhan, man. That's the beginning of the judgment. And if they saying Negroes is catching that Wuhan, and they filling up them hospitals over there in the East Coast and the down South and whatnot, they say that, hey man, well okay, I heard them. A lot of people say, well, I don't know nothing about it. All praise to the Most High. You one of the people that has been blessed to not have that atrocity in your family. But they are showing you people in the hospital. And I do know that Negroes is wicked as heck. So why wouldn't these people be the people that's getting hit with the Wuhan right along with the wicked nationalities on planet Earth? That makes a lot of sense. But see, we can't see things that way because we romanticize with black. We say things like, I'm about black people. And let's just say there was only 10 black people on planet Earth. And 9 of them was straight flaming homosexuals. And you was the 10th straight guy. Then would you be able to say that you're about black people? No, you're not about black people. Because a lot of black people, like in that scenario, the rest of the black people are homosexuals. You're about them?
Official songs,
No, you're not. They don't count for who you're about.
Music Premium.
So you can't just be blindly about black people because these black people suck. They are impudent. They're hard-hearted. They turn away from God without any fear or any acknowledgement of any repercussions. And that right there is, to me, that's that world that Christ and his disciples was warning us about loving, romanticizing, and sympathizing. The scripture says something about painting the cause of the Lord. And when I see that, it sounds like, because that's a like, once again, these are terminologies that was probably easier understood at the time when the old English language was in the usage. Now that we got the modern language, and a lot of those phraseologies and terminologies and stuff that they used to get things to sum up some things and get their point across easily, we lost those meanings in some, you know what I'm saying? And we lost a lot of the usages. But it sounds to me like, when it's saying that, it's like, hey, these folks, they're disappointing, but don't take that stuff personal. This is all business. You are a businessman that's been sent from God. You are a direct messenger. That's why he'll tell you, son of man, I made you a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth and give them warning of me. Now that is the same job description of an angel. He said, when I say unto the wicked, and we covered that last night when Christ told us about how we'll rise and we'll be as the angels. When in the resurrection we'll rise and be as the angels, you would be living like this. You'd be living under this decree, is being a watchman to the house of Israel and giving them warning of God. Which when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at your hand. So you give them that warning if you want to be these people that wants to save all the black folk. You save the black folk by warning them on their wicked ways. That's the reason why we started off by saying, be not a friend. Love not the world. Be not a friend of the world. A friend of the world is at enmity with God. Let's get that.
Watch parenting how-tos ad-free and nap uninterrupted. Try YouTube Premium on us.
Okay, here we go. It's 7.
Purchase your tracks today.
I'm full, my bad. Look at that. You adulterers and adulterers, know you not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. These are a wicked and imputed race of people right now on planet Earth. And that's just the truth. They hell bent on wickedness. There is nothing personal about the transaction with the word of God and these people. It's business orientated. He says, when I say unto the wicked, you shall surely die, and thou givest him not warning nor speak to warn the wicked of his wicked ways to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require for him. That means that you become the person that killed them. Yet if thou warn the wicked, you have the charge of their death now on you. You're charged with their murder. He said, yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he's gonna die in his own iniquity, man. But you have delivered your soul So you go out there to save yourself, to cover yourself. That's what this is really, really coming down to. Because these people are already has been deemed and ordained by God as a people that ain't gonna listen to nothing. They ain't listening to you. So the only reason why you would still go out there knowing that these people ain't going to listen to you is to discharge yourselves from guilt. Not the things that you have already done, but it's the guilt of the secondhand sins that now you have you constantly collect. We collect these sins. And it's not only on the Sabbath. This is every day, any day and every day. When you see something that's violating the laws, and you don't say nothing, that's a secondhand sin that you just now adopted. That's the thing. That's even in the laws. It kind of loses its impact. It kind of loses its impact in when you get into more modern translations. But the older translations, Leviticus, I think it's 19 and 16, is just point blank. All right, it says, okay, it says, you shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. That's the modern translation, and how you're going to see that. But if I go, I'm going to bust it out in the Matthews real quick. All right. It says, you shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not favor the poor, nor honor the mighty, but shalt judge your neighbor righteously. He says, thou shalt not go up and down a private accuser among your people.
Try YouTube Premium on us.
You shall not go down as a talebearer among your people. But this one is, you shall not go up and down as a private accuser among the people. Neither shalt thou help to shed the blood of your neighbor. I am the Lord. You should not hate. Here it is right here. Watch this. He said, you shall not hate your brother in your heart, but shall in any wise rebuke your neighbor. All right. That right there lines up, but watch this. And not suffer sin upon him. That's what it says in the KJV. Right here it says that thou bear not sin for his sake. You see that? That lines up with the book of Ezekiel perfectly. That's why, you know what I'm saying, I adhere to the Matthews Bible as my primary source of Bible studies. It's because it's a lot more accurate. The KJV, it's pretty cool too. I'm gonna give it, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna give it its credit that it's due. But the Matthews is just to me, it has a better translation, hands down. Not to mention 85% of the New Testament comes up from the KJV, comes from the Matthews. 85% of it. So he says right here in Leviticus 19 and 17, he said, you should not hate your brother in your heart, but shall in any wise rebuke your neighbor. So if you don't rebuke your neighbor, guess what that is actually translating as? That translates in this script,
Hate your brother.
It translates as hate. You hate this person if you allow this person to do these things that's going to cause God to destroy him in the future. You seeing a brother eating pork and you don't say nothing to him, but instead you gonna be his friend and you want to just partner up with him and slap high fives and give the daps and be sociable because you don't want to ruff anybody's feathers and you don't want to make anybody upset. You really just hate that person. You might not even really know it. It's just that you don't understand what hate really is. You're going off of a Western mind frame of what hate is. Like way white folks showed you what hate is, because when they was showing us hate, the first I'm gonna say, and it's probably the only example of hatred that you've been taught, I'm gonna say taught in school, was when they taught you about, in Black History Month, when they showed you white folks getting down on the slaves. That is described as hate. And then they will show you things that is closely related to that, which would be things that went to the civil rights movement. They will show you like, that's hate. And you'd be like, yeah, okay. But dang, man, that right there is that's a whole nother level of hate. That's not the only way that you hate. In the Bible, setting folks up for failure or allowing folks to run into failure, that's a biblical hate that the Bible says basically it nips hate in the bud and it covers it right there at the primary root. And the primary root of the things that we still face today now, it all starts from people not holding each other accountable on these laws, statutes, and commandments. Somewhere along the line, we stopped practicing this principle. And today, you can hear how it's reinforced by folks saying things like, you can't judge me. Don't judge me. Now, that ain't nothing but just a fancy way and a modern way of saying, don't correct me when I'm going wrong. Don't point out how I'm doing things wrong. Don't prove to me that I'm not doing it right. Don't help me. Don't actually save me. That's what people are saying today. And this right here is a law that we shall not do. Alright? He said, you shall not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of your people, but thou shalt love your neighbor as yourself. Because the explanation, I am God. Ain't none of us have the power of God. None of us is God. None of us is the Lord. None of us is Yahweh. So we have no right to be vengeful. We have no right to hold a grudge, because that means that you are planning on taking things into your own hands. And you saw what happened to Moses when he took matters into his own hands. His people, those people out there, his people was left without him and his protection now for 40 years. When his intent was to help him. But wrath and vengeance ain't for us. That's not our job. God is the one that does that. Now watch this. Now we're gonna go back to the Ezekiel where we was at. Hold on, man.
All of my assignments, I love to use Grammarly.
All right. He says, right here, this is where we was at. Again, at 3 and 20, he said, again, when a righteous man does turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die. Because thou hast not given him warning, he shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he has done shall not be remembered. But his blood will I require at your hand. See, that's really, really scary. To me, it's not good news. You don't want to be on the bad end of that verse. You don't want to do all that. Look at what transpired with this person that turns from keeping the laws. And I'm not talking about having a lifestyle. This is you blatantly breaking a commandment. Blatantly. You just turn from righteousness and then commit inequity. What happens? This is the response to that. God immediately steps in and he shakes things up. He places a stumbling block before him, which results ultimately in this person's death. How long is that process and what transpires? That's all determined upon the force of God. But he's letting us know, bottom line, what's going to transpire. It's going to be a stumbling block now. He's going to shake that block. He's going to shake things up right there.
Yo, hey, and then I got something to add on to that. You know, when we look at this verse, God ain't just saying like you're gonna like die, as in like you don't like just fall out and die. He's saying that because he says in Deuteronomy 30, choose between life and death, good and evil. So what he's saying is that you're gonna have there's gonna be bad things that's gonna be happening to you. And then when it says that your blood, the blood is no longer on our hands, he's saying that your life, because there's life in the blood. The way that your life will play out is no longer going to be our problem because we tried to get you out of that. We tried to warn you from, you know what I mean, going down that life, going down that path of death.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's true. Because anything outside of God is death. So I 100% agree. You turn away from God, you just now invite, like, remember we busted it out one time on somebody out there in the streets. It was Jeremiah 8 and 3. You know, just real quick. I'm not sidetracking. Just watch how we're going to just keep this going together. Look. Oh, Jeremiah 8 and 3. Hold on. Oh man, wait. Here we go. Nah, I'm tripping. Hold on. Remember that? It was like they're gonna choose death.
Oh yeah. Damn. Was it in
It was Jeremiah 3 and 8 or 8 and 3. No, not 3 and 8, obviously. I'm gonna get it. Why too? It was something like that.
Was it Jose?
Yeah, what the man? What happened?
I don't know. You was there. That was crazy. I don't know what happened. That wasn't there.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. What? Okay, whatever, man. All right, but it says, and death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of them that remain of this evil family, which remain in all the places whither I have driven them, says the Lord of hosts. That's sad, man. You know, that death is the life without God in it.
Man, that's what people choose.
That's what
You don't
people,
got a problem with going through the struggles, man.
The YouTube Music app has
you know?
They do actually got a problem in reality, you know what I mean? Because they complain about it all the time. You know, so y'all, but they still rather choose to go down that life or choose that path because I guess they're comfortable in it, man. That's that those ones that resurrected to everlasting contempt.
Right. They're not afraid of God.
No,
They're just afraid of things not going well when it doesn't go well. But they don't think about anything about the repercussions to their actions when they're doing it. It's when the problems occur. Then everybody wants to start crying out to God. It's like, you know, the whole deathbed cliche.
yeah.
It's the same old, man.
Yeah.
They live a life of just complete wickedness.
Yeah, they say what that Daniel 12, man, Daniel 12 and 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Huh.
You know, we know that, you know what I mean, when it's talking about the sun that's rising from that'll rise from everlasting to with everlasting shame and contempt, those people are the 2/3, man. A lot of our people be sitting here. We talk to a gang of people, and it's one out of a lot, man, that you know actually come and listen.
It's and you can tell. And you can tell. It's
Yeah, you
only
can tell the ones that's want to listen and the ones that's not. You can look at the ones that you know ain't gonna listen, but you still let them know, like, hey, brother, hey, sister, you know, they some of them might be like, yo, I ain't about that. You know, what I mean, the brothers, I ain't about that right now, and then the sisters, you know, they'll start getting wild.
right. Like you said, kinda. That was right on the. You hit it right on the dot. You said, you know, what I'm saying some of them kind of listen. You be like, yeah, it is. The word is kind. You can tell. You know, like, man, you ain't on the caliber. But when I first found out, like, you ain't on the caliber when Lot first found out.
Yeah.
You know, the real Israelite dudes, they be Israelites the moment you tell them. They don't stop. You tell somebody, hey man, whoop, here's the curses, here's the breakdown, this is up. Oh, yeah, for real. Next time you see them, they'll be on it. Like there's a dude at Walmart. You know, the Christians is the one that you can get that going. The real Christian.
Fact.
That's why I'm kind of more like looking at it like, man, I'd rather go to these churches.
Well, it's easier, you know what I mean, to go there. But you know, man, those people,
Mind uninterrupted. Try YouTube
they the
Premium.
lost sheep though. I can't even say nothing about them.
They are the lost sheep though. I really believe that. I believe that those people.
We go there, like that'll be a good place to go to like gather, you know what I mean, gather and build. And as far as in, like warning the people and other sins and stuff, you know what I mean, and getting them out, you know what I mean, going to those publicans and those sinners, man, that's the knuckleheads, man. You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
No. But check it out. Where does it say that he went to the publicans and the sinners?
He hung out with them.
I know that. But a lot of people hung out with him though. And we know reason why they was hanging out with him.
Well, his whole ministry, you know what I mean? His whole thing, he always went to publicans and sinners. You know, that's what he was healing.
Every time I looked in the scripture, because I just read the book of Luke in the last couple weeks. Yeah, I know it took me a couple weeks, my bad. But anyways, because I was, you know, I be going around all over the place sometimes in the Bible just to do other things. But I read the book of Luke, and every time I saw Christ would go out, other than the Sermon on the Mount, he would go to the synagogues and he would go to biblical settings.
Mm-hmm.
He
definitely would go to the biblical settings, but then when he would leave out to the publicans and the sinners. That's why the scribes and the Pharisees were always tripping on him, like saying that he was a glutton and wine bibber, friend of publicans and sinners.
Right.
That was a rap. I'll have to use that.
Huh?
I'm gonna use that bar.
What's that?
You know, they call him a glutton and a wine bibber, a friend of publicans and sinners.
Yo, yeah, you know, you gonna use that?
Yeah, I use that right there.
Yeah, he was a guy that was sitting around him.
Yeah.
But when he said, I am sent unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, who is that? Is that somebody that we're just pretty much automatically inserting and applying that to? Or is there a biblical foundation to that statement?
There's a biblical foundation, you know what I mean? Because they've been scattered. The sheep been scattered by the pastor. So that's the biblical foundation. So those sheep will be those ones that's been going to the pastors.
Well, then who would be the pastors in the days of Christ?
Oh, the scribes and the Pharisees.
Listen to Chill.
And where were they at?
In the synagogue.
Try YouTube Premium.
So the people that they taught would be there too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I know by effect, he had a crowd of people. I know that. I know at a point in time he became almost like a famous person, like a celebrity. I know that too. But that's not the part I'm talking about. I'm talking about what he said out of his own mouth, who he came for. He said, I ain't sent, but that means there was no other reason why he came. When someone says, I am not sent, but that means there's no other reason why I showed up except for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Right?
Yep.
That's all. It was just a question. It's not a statement. I'm not making any statements right now. This is a question, but yes, I do have a biblical knowledge about that setting and what transpired in them times. But I still have a question still about that. Like, well, who did he really come for? Like, who was the target group? Like the lost sheep. Like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah. Hey, how should we, you know what I mean, approach those lost sinners? Like, you know what I mean, like as far as in like trying to reach them, you know, because you know we did that before too.
Remember, Christ told us, or I don't know if it was Christ's word, but it's in the New Testament. I'm just gonna say it like that. It's in the New Testament where it says that we're supposed to hold to the same, hold to the same thing that we had when we first found out about this. Something along the line. That's why I was like, man, I didn't want to even want to paraphrase it because I such a scripture.
Are you talking about like, you know what I mean, how we first went out there?
Yeah, remember?
Yeah,
When we
yeah.
first went out, when we first found out about who we are, and we started actually, you know what I'm saying, adhering to that. How was it? It was real structured, real serious, you know?
Right.
And the people that we really knew was messing up the progress wasn't those smokers and jokers in front of the club. We literally did not give a rat's about them.
Right.
It was like, yeah, whatever. Who we was looking at, we were like, no. We were showing up to churches. And we actually started getting better results. We got invited. These things were some empty invitations, but we even got invited to a couple. Remember?
Yeah.
And then instead we went and changed that and started dealing with nobody. Like literally, these people, they love unrighteousness. This is the ones that got pleasure in unrighteousness. They love not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. They really don't.
That's true. There's a congregation of the sinners, man.
Come on, man. Unfruitful works.
Yeah, congregation of the ungodly. I mean,
yeah, that's the same thing. Congregation of the ungodly. Fruit with keeping company with the unfruitful works.
Yeah. Well, Ephesians 5.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I remember that.
It says, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Because it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
Man.
So the people that getting down with this unrighteousness and having the pleasure in it, it says that, man, you can't even mention the stuff that they say. It's a shame to mention the things that they do.
Man.
You're like, what? You're like, okay, see, we're not being taught right about this. Nobody's telling me how offensive and how wrong we go about some things. Let alone doing the things that is telling us not to do. It's telling us some of these things, it brings a shame upon you. It makes it to where, in other words,
2 Thessalonians 2.
God looks at you weird. You know?
It's that 2 Thessalonians 2:12.
Yeah. I wanted to. I'm gonna go there too. Cool. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go there. And then the Romans 1 also. Remember, he says, knowing the judgment of God that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. These people have this pleasure in this stuff. He said, I like to get the whole thing on this one. All right. Starting at 9, he says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs of lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. These people, for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Why? Because they are them that perish.
That's right.
Right. They receive not the love of the truth. So God calls these people to believe lies with a spirit of delusion, that they all might be damned, who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Most High God, man.
Hey, and then that scripture, the scripture right before the Romans one that you just dropped, it was saying that don't speak about what they do because it's a shame, and that backs up that Daniel 12:2. You know what I mean? Some people gonna rise to everlasting shame. Come on, man.
Dang, speaking and doing those deeds. That was a good catch. I like that. But that is the truth.
With YouTube
That
Premium,
everlasting
you can
shame
download your videos
is
and
actually
watch
the
them
deed that they
all
do.
online. Take
Yeah.
everywhere and watch uninterrupted.
And who is this shade being casted from?
Casted too?
Casted from?
Who's the shame being casted from?
Yeah.
Oh, the unfruitful
No. That's the one that they receiving the shame.
Oh, it's being casted from.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Help me out, man.
God.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. This is how
God is the one that's looking at this stuff, and he's looking at that like, man, that dude ought to be ashamed of himself. That's a shameful thing right there. The person that is determining that factor will be God. It's not them. The people that's doing these acts don't believe that it's shameful.
Right.
The ones that's committing the sins, that's turning away from God, they actually are shameless. The Bible lets you know that too. There's actually verses in there where it says that you can't correct them. You can't correct these people because they ain't got shame. You can't make a person change that ain't got no shame for what they do. Like how you ever met a prostitute that had no shame in being a prostitute?
Yeah.
They'll talk about it. They'll talk about
it, man.
They talk about prostitution as if it's like picking out a pair of shoes, or you know what I mean? It's so casually spoken upon. It's casually spoken upon. Where you be like, wow. I heard a person be like, man, I ain't gonna do nothing like that. Talking about, working for themselves, actually making an honest dollar. They say, I'd rather just be a prostitute. We like, whoa, no shame. Like these people, they don't have no shame. There was a time in my life where I would have thought that anybody would have been ashamed of that type of deeds in life. You know what I mean? Talk to the 7-year-old version of that girl and let her know about how she gonna grow up and feel about prostitution, and watch how she's gonna have big eyes. Like, what? Like, 'cause that's a shameful thing. You can't change somebody that don't give a damn about what they do, man. Like a dope dealer, he don't care about selling crack cocaine to his own people. He ain't ashamed of it. He said, but that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in the righteousness. He said, but we are bound to give thanks always to God for you, brethren, beloved of the Lord, because God has from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief of the truth. Whereunto he called you by our gospel to the obtaining of the glory of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach. Yahushua Mashiach. Therefore, brethren, members of the congregation, stand fast and hold the traditions which you have been taught, whether by word or epistle. I think this is the verse that I was actually talking about. Stand fast and hold to traditions which you have been taught.
Wow. Yeah.
Whereby, whether by word or by epistle, and by letter or by demonstration of, or someone else speaking about it. And today we got something, we got a real deep version of that. And by word, when you open up the internet and you can see your brothers, the real brethren, standing out there doing the real walks of Christ. You see it. You'll say, oh, yeah, I remember like when I first woke up, you like, I did run into this concept also. Like, this was one of the things that I did run into. You're like, and these guys are following after Christ. That's the only reason why they're doing this. You're like, in the way that they're doing it, like, that's the way, this is the way that is done. Okay, cool. Well, you're supposed to hold to those things. Stand fast in that, man. And hold the traditions which you have been taught, whether by word or our epistle. Now, our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach himself, and God, even our Father, which have loved us and has given us everlasting consolation and good hope through grace, comfort your hearts.
That's right.
And establish you in every good work. Comfort your heart and establish you in every good word and work. So this, like me, man, is something that we're supposed to be, you know what I mean, standing firm on, and we're not supposed to deviate from it. This is a real serious watchman report. You gotta get out there, and you have to be focused, and you have to warn these people, and don't be dismayed by all of the people's BS that they do, because there's gonna always be something. This is not the righteous people of earth. You're dealing with the people that's worse than the heathens, the Bible says. We got the heathens, and we already know that they on some other stuff. But when it comes down to the Israelites on earth, they even worse. That's why you look at the Negro and see
YouTube Music is a music app to
the
discover every
most
subgenre that's ever existed.
unique but
Like some Dominican dip,
unproductive activities
Get YouTube
formulating
Music.
amongst them as a culture. Nothing but unproductive activities that has become their culture. It's now called black culture. It's black culture for me to sag my pants. That's now my culture.
Purchase your tracks today.
It's my culture to chant either a whole bunch of prideful words, to sit around and just chant prideful words, man. Yeah, it's called rap music. You listen to what they're saying, it's nothing but just pride or just straight curses. And that's your culture. And if anybody infringes on that, black folks get offended and start talking about cultural appropriation and things of that sort. You looking like, that is not culture, man. You guys are out of your minds. You're mentally diseased. That ain't no culture. You're sick in the head. You're ill. This is death. This is not a culture. This is what it looks like when you have a dead people on earth, when they're completely dead and they have no access to their God. But everybody else, they dealing with something. They got their own, they dealing with something. They got something going on, whatever. But when you get to these Negroes, you're like, what is this? What the heck is that? You're like, oh no, that's when you turn away from your own God Like you look at everybody else, the Chinaman, he got a Chinese god. You're like, yeah. You're like everybody that pretty much goes down the list with all people until you get to the Negroes. Them people, they just try to do their own thing. You're like, oh yeah, they don't have like no practice. Some people will try to explain to you that a guy died for them to live a life with no practice, no structure, no organization, no rules, just abound in your own will. Just don't get in anybody's way. Make sure you don't get in nobody's way. You're like, whoa, okay, yeah, man. So they don't have no holidays? Nope. They don't have no ceremonies, no practices, or anything like that. Nope. The black man on planet Earth, he believes that all those things are not to be done anymore. Then you go into the New Testament and you're talking about establish you in every good word and work. When you look and you're like, every good word and work, establish you in every good word and work. Oh, okay, so I got to go to the whole Bible. It just says it, clear as day, right there. And you got to actually get involved in it. That means to establish. It's to bring something into being through a process. We already covered the word established in this book. It means that. So you got to bring these things into being. You got to bring the word. You go to the word and you'll see that it's giving us instructions on certain things. It says to do those. One of them things right now is to give the people a warning. Going around and telling people, hey, you know you God's people. Who cares? What do you freaking do? Give them another piece of pride for them to blow themselves up with just a little bit more. Like, listen, man, you're in a path of destruction. God about to kill a lot of stuff right now. And so far, you're not on the good side. I can tell you because what I can see you doing right now, today. Just warning me, man. Like, oh, I have my own relationship with God. No, that's not. There's no such thing. You actually won't see that sentence nowhere in the Bible. No prophet, no priest, no disciple in anywhere in the Bible ever said that. They just never said it. That's not a concept that is biblical. That's something that came about today as the wickedness has abounded and darkness has grossly came upon the earth. Now you got people saying all these things. You even got one out there called God, only God can judge me. That is literally a verse that comes from Tupac. You know how many times I've heard somebody tell me that verse? In defense. Only God can judge me.
Man, we ran into that a couple times downtown.
Yeah. Run into that stuff all the time, man. We've been running into it honestly for years.
Oh man, another one, come as you are.
Come as you are.
Oh, that's nowhere in the script. Yeah, they talking about what?
Nowhere in the Bible.
You're like, man, that's man, that's the little Christianity, man, up in y'all, man.
Right. Come as you are. Don't
you see, you know what, too? I catch myself sometimes still having like a dabble of Christianity in me. I'm like, oh, what? You know what I mean? Because it's, you know what I mean, you've been taught. And you know what I mean? You got to be untaught and taught again.
Well, it's a struggle, honestly, because the fight is in your mind now. And who are you going to agree with the most? You're going to agree with yourself.
Yeah.
So that means that's going to be the hardest fight because there's a big conflict of interest. The conflict of interest is literally.
But you gotta take that reproof though. Like if you got two different understandings, like I'm not saying two different understandings. If you know what I mean, believe one thing, right, or thought something was true, and then you be like, no, but then hold on, this verse right here, you start debating yourself, but this verse right here says different in this one.
Right.
Well, I don't know, man, about that last thought, man.
That's where the fight comes. You're right. I 130,000% right there with you, man. I'm like, man, that is the truth. Literally, the war goes on in your mind.
Calm.
It's literally a battlefield inside your head, and you're tossing and turning between two different concepts.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what I'm saying, that's the trip. That's why, really, you know what I'm saying, you gotta fight. You gotta fight real hard, man. But the reward is clear. When you actually get to the conclusion is what I mean. When you fight that fight, and then once you finally get over the excuses and the licenses that you're trying to allow yourself, because you see what you're doing. And once you overcome, you'll see it. You'll be like, dang, I was tripping. You're like, yeah, you know you was tripping. Man. You know dang well you can't get down like that. You're like, oh man. You're like, well, shoot. You're like, okay, that's a fight. People are probably gonna fight with that one. Glad I made it through it. And that's it, man. Like what the dude was talking about last night. I'm not going to mention it on here, but remember what we were talking about last night?
Yeah. Yeah.
The M word.
Yeah.
That right there was a fight, you know. And I knew that it was an issue, you know what I mean? It was something that I had to fight with. It was like, man. And then when you finally overcome it, like say like what you said, you like, you know, if you just say that, you know what I'm saying, you're doing a homosexual deed. You know, you said that, he's like, you'll never do it again.
Right. Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when you come out of there, you look at it, and you're like, okay, so he saw it that way, and I know when he looked back, I know he looked like, okay, I was tripping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You be like, okay, I was tripping. The reward is clear after that. You be like, oh, I could clearly see that I was bugging.
Yeah, because that's, you know what's crazy. A lot of people, you know what I mean, fight. You know what I mean, that's their fight too. You know, they got a problem with that. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Damn near everybody, all everybody.
Yeah,
because that was like it became a norm, especially when you get older. Like, you know what I mean, when you're younger, you don't really know people. You know what I mean, and nobody ain't even talking about that. But when you get older, people get more open to that type of conversation. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
now because they know they're battling something now, they're like, man, shit.
I remember when I was a kid, the only time that we ever seen any magazines or any nudity or anything like that would be like at the store. But you wouldn't be able to see them. You would just be able to
wrapped up.
Yeah, they'd be wrapped up. You'll know what they're doing though. You'll know what they're about. You'll be like, oh, that's the dirty book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And every once in a while, you might see like one kid that might be like, hey, I found one of these, you know what I'm saying, under my dad's bed or something like that. Or, you know what I'm saying? It'd be a rare thing.
Yeah.
Today, I can't even imagine what's going on in the youth. I can't imagine it because I'm like, whoa, okay, so
man,
one of these little dudes got access to that.
This little kid, man, you know what I mean? They got access, man, and they know what to type in, man. They're being exposed to it.
No wonder why everybody's fighting with that.
Yeah, and it just, y'all, man.
I'm talking about the M-bomb.
Yeah.
They're fighting with that. They struggling with it because think about it. You get in, these people.
You're landing and unlanding.
Yeah, that's a whole other level. You know what I'm saying? Of growing up now.
You're right. Because you're supposed to be scoring, but you're not scoring.
Or just not having none.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Me, when I was, I'm gonna say about let's just say 14, 14 and under, it wasn't even cracking.
No.
Like, it wasn't nothing happening. Nothing. We would have crushes on girls. You know what I mean? And that's beat about that, man. That's all. You know what I'm saying? I remember sitting around other homeboys and you know what I'm saying, we would just be talking about who we got crushes on. Like, hey, man, who you got a crush on? Oh, who? Oh, man, I'm gonna go up there and tell her that you like her. No, man, you better not. You know what I'm saying? No, man, you don't say shit. Man, you actually scared. No, I ain't scared. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. And that would end with nobody getting nothing. We all just kind of oogled over girls that we liked, and then things move on.
Yeah.
That's just how it was. Now, these dudes, they probably got crushes on people that don't even go in, that's not even in their school. I don't know what's going on. All I know is that, man, they got crazy stuff in their hands now.
Facts.
And I can see why when we out there talking with people, it comes up. You know, self-abuse comes up. You be like, okay, this ain't the first time you heard about self-abuse. You know that, right? Last night's not the first time we dealt with that.
Yeah.
I be looking like, okay, so this is something that's plaguing people. I wonder what's the cause. I wonder. Could it be the immediate unlimited access to
what they call it? Technology, man. The increase of technology. Like the Most High said, you know what I mean? Knowledge will increase. That's what's good.
And that is something that we got to know, that is not the only thing that this access to the internet is about. It's way more bigger than porn.
Yeah.
Even though I can understand, like, even there's a point in time in my life where that's all I used it for. I didn't know what else to do with it. They would teach me in school. They told me in school that this is the World Wide Web, the information highway. I remember those. Actually remember those phrases being taught to me. This is the information highway. This is the World Wide Web.
We're in the age of information.
None of those things was ringing bells. It didn't mean anything to me. I don't know why it didn't mean anything. I don't know why. When they said it, it sounded as if they just combination of colors: yellow, green, oranges, blue. I was like, oh, right. Yellow, green, oranges, blue. Whatever. Where's the porn site at? Like, can I get access to porn on this one too? That's it. Then, you know what I mean, I started using it for the information. You start finding out. It's kind of off track, but I'm gonna have to just mention it. The person that got me, the first person that got me studying on the computer, looking up information, was a Hispanic dude. Was a Mexican cat. His mom and his dad comes from Mexico. They didn't speak English or nothing.
We got a question in the chat. Straight Talk with Trevor. He says, "Are the Israelite camps setting the example of how we should live?"
The Israelites. My answer to that question is I don't see them setting an example on how to live or how not to live. I see them setting an example. The reason why I say that is because they don't show us their life. I don't see anything about actually their day-to-day life. But what I do hear, which Christ told us, Christ told you to listen to these cats. Even you listen to the Pharisees, you just don't do what they do. These people, you know what I mean? But listen to what they're saying, because the things that they're saying is definitely credible to what we should be doing. Like when they say we should,
and you gotta be
borders of blue on our garments and whatever, you know what I'm saying, having fringes or whatever, you know what I'm saying. You can look into your studies on what you determine what a fringe is. But that border of blue is very important to have.
That's right.
When they mention that, that is true. And when you see them standing up in an organized fashion and they're trying to have a system set up to where they actually are calling themselves, you know what I'm saying? I'm a bishop, or I'm a deacon, I'm a captain, you know, all those things. That's cool. If you got the numbers that way, we're supposed to be looking at things this way.
Yeah, because it's got to be established. You know what I mean? Especially if we're gonna get our own, those type of ranks got to be established.
Yeah.
Watch League of
And we
Legends.
got to
People with that
understand.
mind state got to be
Interrupted. Try YouTube.
already practicing.
Right. So the way that they are getting down, some of the things like let's say we see some of the people, they out there yelling and they want to fight with everybody. They got a contentious spirit. You can tell they want to fight, but that doesn't stand for and represent all the camps. That's just some camps that do that, you know. But within that same camp, they will have a couple of guys that is completely opposite to that same approach. Also, they will be speaking very level-minded, very cool, calm, and collected. It's just, it all depends on the person. Like that one guy that did the news interview, he said, we all got our own style. They got their own style on how they're going to present their message. But not all of us do it like that.
Right, yeah. Like, say for instance, like Deacon, he don't have the same style as what's his name? The dude in the East Coast.
Alizar.
No, not Alizar. That's Gorilla, right? Hebrew. I'm talking about Hassan. Huh?
Hashar from
Yeah.
Alpha Omega.
Yeah. They don't got the same delivery, but what they're saying is on point. One's just saying it more harsher. Yeah, and you see that the reason why, if you look at it, the reason why what's his name? What's his name again? Hassan? Hashar. The reason why Hashar is more strict is because he's dealing with a lot more, way more people.
Yeah.
You see it like oppression. You know what I mean? This dude's like, man, I'm just gonna start just letting everybody know as they walk past. You know what I mean? So they can't say that they didn't know or they didn't hear, you know what I mean, the word of the Lord.
Right.
Shouldn't the life they portray online match the lives they preach?
What?
He said, shouldn't the life they portray online match the lives they preach?
Yeah, it should. But my question is, are they not? That's my question. Are they not practicing the life that they preach? They say see, this is what I hear them preach. Let's discover it. What do they preach? They say,
download your favorite
keep the commandments
and listen uninterrupted.
Well, what are the commandments?
Try our family plan.
One of them that they tell you to do is have a border of blue on in your fringes.
Yeah.
Add that. Another one they say is to honor the Sabbath and keep it holy. You see them doing that. They got a lot of them guys out there, and particularly on the Sabbath day.
Right.
Some of them you won't see all week, but the Sabbath day rolls around and that's when you will see them. IUIC is one of the main ones that do it like that. Another thing they teach, but basically, go down and listen, you'll see, you're like, everything that they teach, they actually do kind of pretty much live it. For the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, I see kind of where the brother's going, like, basically because, he feels like they're rude in speech. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Like, okay, they're rude in speech. That doesn't take away from the message that they're bringing out. I'm talking about the camps that you're referring to, that you might be referring to, that, you know what I mean, do be, you know what I mean, yelling at people. It would seem like yelling, but they're on the mic. They're just crying aloud and sparing not. They're lifting their voice up like a trumpet. So with everything that they're doing it for a reason. They've seen something in the scriptures and now is now living that.
Oh yeah. Right. And then the crazy thing about it is too, man, I'm saying they kind of got a lot of things down too that a lot of people got to learn. You already got it all the way down. These guys, they're to be honest, they're like they live in the future. They're way ahead of most people. They're just way ahead of us, man. There's so many collective minds that works on this Israelite thing that they run.
Yeah.
And they do working on it all the time, constantly. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, some of it. I'm not going to speak upon their motivated reasonings on why they are doing these things. I'm just going to say you can see this evidence that there's a lot of minds working on that whole little mission that they're on. Each and every last one of them cats. So you'll see that they're going to get better and better and better. You know, they might not be perfect right off the bat. I know that. There's some things that I could have pointed out on them anytime, but that's not the case. That's not the situation. The situation doesn't call for that. What you will see, though, is you will see that these people are learning. They're getting better and better. And I'm not talking about just with the verses. You'll see that their doctrines is starting to get a little bit more refined, starting to make a lot more sense. These people are being just better at it. You're starting to see less and less fussing and cussing now. You're starting to see a little bit more calm teaching. Like you said, they might be on the microphone and it's still loud. You know what I mean? And some of them still be speaking loud, but black folks people always complain about that.
Right, you know what I mean? The dudes that reading the Bible, they speak loud because that's what they do. You know what I mean? This is what they're doing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Everybody
I do it all the time. I'll get the word and I'll say it loud. So I'm not doing it to be disrespectful. I'm doing it so my message can be heard as far as possible.
Right, man. Right, yeah. And it comes out nice and clear.
Yeah.
The louder you say, the clearer it becomes.
That's right.
And you can pace yourself easier too. You know what I'm saying? It's just the guys, they all right, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to demonize the camp brothers. Them brothers right there, when you actually go out there and talk to the people, you'll find out that God didn't even make much of them dudes. There isn't a lot of them, and you can't turn somebody into them.
No.
Something has to happen between this human being and God. You can't do it. Don't matter how much they agree with you. Don't matter what you teach them. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. If they ain't, if you know, I mean, if they're gonna be doing it, it's because something real. Honestly, to be, I mean, paranormal happened, man. Some paranormal stuff.
Wow.
It's not natural.
Nope. It's not the norm. If you look at the norm, you'll see the norm. You know what the norm is. You look at the norm and then look at the Israelites. You're like, it would seem like those people are abnormal. Those people are different. They set apart. That's the whole point of being holy, is to be different. It's not to be of this world.
Right. Calm. Big time.
We taking on the spirit. We taking on the spirit of the Most High God. We don't let something else take over. That's just what it is.
That's right. I like that abnormal word. It'll be abnormal. It would be abnormal. We are abnormal. Israelites are completely abnormal. Now,
right.
Watch this.
YouTube music is a music.
If you want to get on the thing, I'll put the link in the chat too. Straight Talk. If you want to. Okay, he's going to be home in 5 minutes. He's going to hit the link. All right, I'm going to put the link out there. Now, check this out. Now, I was reading this. This is a good one too. Let's read this. Y'all see the screen? Proverbs 1. He said the Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. Come on now. One moment though. Let me get to my Matthew.
Yeah, that was profound right there itself, man.
Right.
That was giving you that's a parable right there. You know what I mean? So it was letting you know that a wise son makes a father makes a glad father. The Father is the Most High. If you follow in these laws, statutes, and commandments, you're going to make the Most High God glad. But a foolish son is heaviness of the mother. So if you a fool, that means you despising wisdom, or you know what I mean, which is you know what I mean, tied to, it says wisdom is the mother of us all. So you would make the mother, you know what I mean, heavy. The mother, it would be a heaviness to the mother.
Con. That's right.
Previous.
So at 2, he says the treasures of wickedness profits nothing, but righteousness delivers from death.
That's right.
He said the Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casts away the substance of the wicked. He becomes poor that builds with a slack hand, but the diligent makes rich. It says, whoso gathers in the summer is wise. I'm reading out of the Matthews now. Whoso gathers in summer is wise, but he that is sluggish in harvest brings himself to confusion. What is the harvest?
The gathering. The gathering of the righteous. No?
Kind of. You're not wrong. It just wasn't the answer that I was actually going to aim at. But you're not wrong. It actually is, you're right. But in a different way, I'm going to let it out.
Oh, it's 2 gatherings. Yo, okay. Yeah, I remember this one. Let's get it.
What is the harvest?
You got to gather those tares too.
But what is the harvest?
Huh?
What is the harvest?
The end of the world.
It's the end of the world, man.
Right, as my song is getting really good.
You see that?
Huh?
Yeah, of course, there's going to be some things that applies to it. But Christ lets us know specifically what the harvest is. So we can look at this verse now, go back to where we were at, right? Proverbs 10. And he says at 10 and 5, say, he that gathers in summer is a wise son, but he that sleeps in the end of the
world. Snaps. Yeah. He that's not waking to this truth at the end of the world.
Sleeps in the end of the world is a son that causes shame. That's heavy, huh?
Yeah. That's dope. I didn't ever see that.
Yeah.
Today. Kahala Haba,
man. Well,
all praise to the Father.
Yeah. There's be some good stuff, man. You know what I mean? When we make the connections and build upon the blocks, it'd be like, there's some knowledge up in this right here. Okay, let's keep going. He says at 6, he says, loving and favorable is the face of the righteous, but the forehead of the ungodly is past shame.
Come on, man. Shameless.
Presumptuous. You know what I mean?
That kind of backs up what you were saying too. Like, man, the ungodly people ain't got no shame, man. They shameless. You can't. They got that empty forehead, man.
Right. You can't change them. You can't. There's nothing you can do because they don't have no shame. If you was like, hey, man, you know, prostitution is, man, that's a real low down and dirty thing to do. And they be like, dang, I didn't even know that. That's how y'all see this? You be like, oh, yeah, totally disgusting and self-degrading. Damn, now I feel ashamed of myself. That person might not be prostituted too much longer. But then you tell somebody, man, that same thing, that's a low down, dirty way of living. You know that, right? Like, what? Man, No self-value. And oh yeah, Dad. Okay. I'm all about that money. You be like, just count on this person prostitution. Continuing prostituting. They don't got no shame. You told them that it was a low down, dirty way of living. You're looking like shit. I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
Listen uninterrupted.
I'm trying to get my money.
Right. You're like, oh, they're past. Somebody that's past shame can't even be corrected.
Yeah.
So it says, loving and Pharaoh is the face of the righteous, but the forehead of the ungodly is past shame. And they're what? Presumptuous. Why is it? Wait, man, why isn't it matter? What's going on?
The KJV, I'm talking about, didn't even say none of that.
Wow, I keep on looking back and I keep finding
It said,
myself.
blessings are upon the head of the just, but the violence covers the mouths of the wicked. Matthew murdered that one.
Dang. Okay, KJ. I'm trying to tell you, man. I be trying to root for you, KJ. I do. I be trying to stand up and root for the KJV. I'm like, don't y'all be talking smack on the KJV. KJV, he right there with us the whole time. And then I bust out the Matthews, and I be sitting there like, man, come on, KJV, I'm trying to look out for you, man. Dang, don't be leaving me hanging out there. Okay, let's go to 7. Let's see if this matches. It says the memorial of the just. Okay, the memorial of the just shall have a good report. But the name of the ungodly shall stink.
Yeah, that's lined up.
Okay, a wise man. It says a wise man will receive warning. He was what?
The commandments. That's what we do. When we warning the people, we teaching them the commandments. That is warning the people.
That's how you warn them. You let them know that you guys are in sin. God will kill you for these things. God says that you'll die for doing those. These are the things that brings death, y'all. And they
don't be that one, man. That don't be that soul that has been risen into everlasting shame and content, man.
Right.
You gotta go through whatever y'all going through. He said he backstage.
Shalom, brother.
Peace. Can you guys hear me?
What's going
on? Oh man, is that me?
Yeah, that's you.
Hey, so let me preface this by saying right now, like I know of you guys from the debate league, SVDL. So that's why I even looked you guys up online. So when I made reference to the camps, what I'm saying, so I was a Christian preacher for 25 years. I was actually stripped of my license 2 years ago, just because some of the things that they were teaching didn't seem to line up with the book. So I started looking into this Hebrew Israelite, with COVID and everything being home, you online a little bit more. And that's kind of how I ran into SVDL, and I would hear you guys preaching, talking on the argument league. So my whole thing is when I see Israelites and I don't want to have to lump all you guys in, but when I look at the camps, it seems like all they want to do is rap and argue at people. I'm like, is there really any edification of the people going on? And like, how are we moving? How are the Israelites moving people forward?
Okay. I'm gonna answer your last question first. How are they moving the people forward when you're seeing them just pretty much bickering and arguing?
Yeah.
They're moving the people forward because even though at that moment it seems like they're bickering and arguing, one of the things that we have learned from being on SVDL also is that's how the so-called black man and black woman takes things now. They don't take it well at initial. In the initial, they always lash back, they fight, and they wrestle and they tussle with the truth. on what you just said, but you will catch them later on down the road actually adhering to that same lesson that they struggle and fought against. Even you can even see that with like, you know about that dude, Brother Polite?
Yeah.
Brother Polite, he was one of the main dudes that wrestled and fought against the Israelites. But as time went on, you start hearing yourself, and you know what I'm saying, a lot of like those seeds get planted. And those same people, they start actually manifesting the growth of those seeds inside of their own minds. It starts working. So it's in other words, it's a timely process on what you're saying. And they're only arguing with these people is because the people are arguing with them too. It takes two to tango. I know them brothers don't go out initially to argue.
And Battle Axe, when he's talking about Brother Polite, he's not talking about his actions. He was talking about his talking points change.
Yeah.
Talking to Israelites.
Oh yeah, he changed. He knows that. You know, he doesn't fight against the fact that we're Israel. He knows that. He's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But the point is, I'm not talking about Polite. I was just using that as an example of something that we all can at least go back on and reference on. Like, oh yeah, he was pretty much 100% against it. And then there was a change when he got on Vlad TV. When he got on Vlad TV, he was speaking completely different. He was more like, you know, I mean, we are the children of Israel. We know that, but you're like, well, all right then, man. Okay, so that's how this works. These people, they don't take the medicine well. Just like a bad child.
So let me. I don't mean to cut you off, but I guess what I'm getting at. So yesterday, for instance, I was listening to a particular Israelite panel. And the panel went on for like 3 hours, and maybe 2.5 of those 3 hours, they were cursing each other out, and there was no teaching going on. And that's what I'm saying. Anytime I go on an Israelite panel, and I'm just now starting to like get on panels now because I'm trying to get my name out there and everything. But it's like that's all they're doing is arguing back and forth. I've even heard Malak on Judah's panel sometime trying to calm it down and get back to the teaching. So I give you props for that, because you do that. Whenever they're going astray, you try to get it back to the information, but that's the problem. There's no information going. It's just nothing but arguing and bickering and F you this and I'm gonna kill you this. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, as an ex-Christian that wants to look into this Israelite thing, why in the world would I want to come out of Christianity and now join this? Like, what is in this? That's what? Because I get to wear fringes and stuff like that, and I can grow my beard out. It's like I'm saying, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than that.
Like like the scripture was saying, like Battle Axe, because we were just talking about it. You know, I mean, it's not about following what they're doing; it's following what they're saying. Their actions might not line up to what they're saying, but that doesn't take away from what they're saying. You know, what I mean, that doesn't stop you from being who you are, which is an Israelite from the tribe of Judah.
Do you see the problem there, though? Do you see the problem? Would you follow an investor that's trying to tell you how to invest your money, and they make nothing but bad business decisions? You wouldn't do that, right?
It's not about following. It's about not following the people. It's about the culture. You don't follow the people. You follow the commandments. You don't follow what the people do. You listen to what God tells you to do. God tells you trust no man. Don't put your trust in a man thinking that this man's gonna show you how to conduct yourself. You be that light. God only he said many are called and few are chosen.
Right, and let me add to that. If we look, if you go back and look at some of our lessons and stuff, we have a real solid belief, and we're truly convinced that Christ is here, and He is watching and He's judging. But one of the things is we fail to realize what transpires when Christ does, hit the scene. It says right here in Luke 12:51, He says, "Suppose you that I am come to give peace on earth." He says, "I tell you no, but rather division." For henceforth, for from this point forward, there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. The father shall be divided against the son and the son against the father. So he can even get that close. He can get that personal to where the division occurs. So if the father and the son is going to be at odds with each other, we already know that we're going to be seeing strangers online being at odds when Christ comes through and he steps in on the scene. When Christ comes to the scene, these are the things that happen. He said, and daughter against the mother and the mother-in-law against the daughter-in-law, so on and so forth. You know? He said, and he said,
so you think no,
okay,
you guys think that Christ is already here?
Yes, Christ is here.
Yes.
How?
There is a okay, check this out. When you look at Matthew,
I've never heard this one before. Go ahead.
Well,
go
yeah,
ahead.
hey, that's because it says go ahead, Battle Axe, I'll let you get it. But Christ said that he's come like a thief. The day of the Lord comes like a thief in the night, man. Those that's in the dark ain't gonna know. You know what I mean? You got to be enlightened to know, you know what I mean? And you got to be watching to know the signs of the Son of Man coming or the Lord.
Right. Right. Because look, if we look at Matthew 24 and 1 first, look what they say. He said, and Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him in order to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yahushua said unto him, see you not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came unto him privately, saying, this is what they saying now. Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be, look what he asked, what shall be the sign of your coming and the end of the world? They understood right then and there, clearly, that the disciples knew that when Christ was going to come back, that there would be a sign, not a evident appearance, not some grand finale. There would be a sign that has occurred. Just like when he was born, it was a sign that happened. Now watch this. Now we go down to 30. And he says, and then, well, I'll start at 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. That's just all false doctrines, stuff that we have been learning from idols and our parents, mothers and fathers, all these bullcrap, religious terminologies and ideologies. All those things.
So let me
gone.
So let me ask you, because see, I could have this type of conversation with you guys, because like I say, I've seen you guys on the argument league before, so I've seen how it can get turned up. But this a good bill here. So you guys say that you believe Christ is already here. So why is Israelites do you feel he's still in captivity then? Why hasn't his kingdom been established?
Because the kingdom is being established. That's the whole thing. You look at the word established, it means to be brought up in a process. It's a step-by-step process. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen just like the way that we're seeing it happening right now. It's going to be done through people first awakening. Then after the awakening, it's going to be people that's going to start doing the reconstruction. Once they hit the reconstruction phase, that's what we're in now. That's when you start seeing all the debates and the flare-ups. That's what happens. And then after the flare-up, we're going to go back into the refining phase, where you're not going to notice none of the bumps. All the arguments and all the false doctrines are going to be either the doctrines that's going to stand are going to still remain, and the ones that are proven to be false, they're going to fall off into oblivion. That's what we're in right now. But it is a messy process because there was so much damage done that you're going to see a lot of people, because you got people that believe that they Christ themselves. So the person that believes that he's Christ himself, like for instance, the dude Judah Nazareth, he believes that he's a Christ. He for period, he thought that he was the Christ. So when you're dealing with a person that has that type of mentality, he's not going to try to deviate from nothing without a strong fight. Whatever doctrine that he walked into now has his ego on the line, got his pride on the line. That's what makes these people fight so hard. But watch this. But look what Christ says about when these people will be showing up. When he will show up, he says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
So you guys don't believe that Jesus is God, do you?
Nuh-uh. But we do know that
we believe that he's our God.
Right.
Ruler. God just means judge or ruler. We believe that Christ.
Well, okay. The Most High God did. Let me say that. Most High.
We don't believe he's the Most High God.
All right.
No.
So
he's the Son of God. He's God's son. You know, how I see it is the exact same thing that we see here on earth. That is a shadow of what is going on up there. So if God calls us his son, he says, you are my firstborn, my only begotten son. That is only in reference to something that's going on up there in the first place. Has to be going on up there in the first place for him to even be talking to us about it. That's why the temple was made, because that was going on in the first place. That's why the Ark of the Covenant is a throne, because that's what goes on already in the first place. God sits on that throne. So he had the angel of the Lord sit on that throne in representation of him in his heavenly realm, which is now that temple. And then he has a son. Who is the son now? On earth, he calls him Israel. But in heaven, it's actually Yahushua. These concepts are on earth because these concepts were founded and created in heaven first.
So let me I'm kind of flustered because I'm not gonna lie. This is almost it's coming off too sensible almost, because like I say, I'm used to being in confrontation with people, but you guys are really really cordial, so I appreciate that. Do you believe in salvation for everybody or just Israel?
Salvation is for is for Israel, but other people can benefit from our salvation.
Can the white man be saved?
He can benefit from our salvation. He's not in trouble. That's the thing. To be saved, you got to be in peril first. He's not in peril. He's actually ruling the world at this moment.
But as far as in like, there's from a deeper understanding, quote unquote white man, he can be saved from death, you know what I mean, by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, if you mean by like that type of saved. But like,
well, so ISUPK teaches that that white people cannot be saved. Like this, there's no way. It's just they're gonna go and they're gonna be slaves in the kingdom and all that stuff.
Well, wouldn't that be salvation?
Yeah, that's it.
Wouldn't that be salvation if everybody else died of your people? If your people group was being exterminated, and then somebody said, I'm not going to kill this guy, I'm actually going to take him with me. I'm not going to kill these people.
Into the kingdom of heaven, though. The kingdom of heaven.
I was going to say that. I was like, and then the place that you're about to go is not going to be, you know what I'm saying, the worst. You're actually about to go to what is going to probably be known as the best that ever existed.
But you'll be servant. But you'll have a life of servitude, though.
We already got a lot of servitude.
Yeah, come on, man. I was just about to say.
You know, to be, you know, it's just that the servitude has adapted a concept over here in the Western world to where everybody cringes from it. We're like, servitude, and then you go straight to what the last time we know about what servitude was, and it was crazy stuff. Chattel slavery, you know, and then demonic entities working through people. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we do, though. You know what I'm saying? We already know that it's not in black folks' heart to even be really wanting to fight even fight the white man. We don't want to fight them. What black folks really want to do is they just want these folks to just accept them and live in harmony, and let's all just get along and let's move forward happily. That's what all black people really in their root is really wanting. So imagine if we had white folks up under us. You know, check this out. This is true. In Spain and in Portugal, when they had servants, and in Europe, they only had the servants work for 150 days out of the year. For 200 days, they gave those people festivities and holidays and celebrations to partake in right along with them. And that was one of the things that Queen Sheba noticed when she went and visited Solomon.
I was just getting that. That's crazy.
She said, I only heard half of it. She said, I heard a lot about you, but now that I showed up, I only heard half. People only been telling me half of what's going on over here. She said, because even your guys' servants are happy.
That's that 1 Kings 10.
Can we get it?
Well, get it.
Oh, see, Akmallah, he has that one loaded. He do. You know, he had to have used this on people. Look, he says, howbeit, not the words until I came, and my eyes had seen it. And behold, the half was not told to me. Your wisdom and prosperity exceeds the fame of which I heard. Happy are your men, happy are these your servants. Who stand continually before you and hear your wisdom.
Right, and you can even look into Chronicles and stuff. We had servants too. You seen that there were servants enlisted into our lineages. And a couple of those servants was even given Israelite women. To raise up seed as Israelites.
Yeah.
You see that in first.
Okay, so because you guys clearing this up for me now, because when I hear it from you, it sounds more like, I think I'm getting caught up on the word servant, but it sounds more like almost like employees, basically.
That's
right.
Which is no different than how we're being treated now. Hey, listen, man, this I appreciate y'all for letting me come on, man. Like I say, I know you guys from the debate league. So I subscribe to the channel now. So, hopefully I can come back on. There was one other question I wanted to ask you. Oh man, I forgot. Oh man, I forgot, man. If you're still on, I'll put it in the chat. But I appreciate you guys for letting me. Oh no, yeah, now I remember. So one of you said earlier, I heard you say, "Cry loud, spare not." How come the vocal Israelite camps aren't tearing down like the crazy doctrine that you guys hear about Jesus being the serpent in the garden, and just the most ridiculous things coming out of the HOK?
Oh, because they won't do that at camp, because that's more like me. You know what I mean? They got a clear understanding from the New Testament that people don't even really need those type of topics. We got to get our people covered with the first principles, which is they got to know the laws. You know what I mean? All this Lilith in the garden talk and all that stuff is, none of that is going to lead you to salvation. None of that is salvation speech. They'll ask you right in the quick and heartbeat. They'll say, if you ask them that, they'll say, but would that determine you to be saved or not? And then you will say, nah, it won't. He's like, exactly. And then they hit you with another verse, like, seek not things that's too high for your understanding. Seek not out things that's too high for your understanding. Because there's some things that's real plain for you to see and you still don't know. So then you be like, oh, okay, they got a ways on not even addressing those things. Because really the real issue is our people, they gonna probably celebrate their birthday right after they get done from standing out there at camp talking to us. They're gonna do their birthday. They're gonna do Halloween. They're gonna be doing all kinds of drugs, getting drunk, acting stupid, all kinds of dumb stuff. And they be like, them knowing who Lilith was in the garden, or whether she was or not, has nothing to do with what they need to know right now. They need to get their stuff right. And then the second part of that answer is, we see it happening online though. We got different members of the body. Them brothers, they're at the ground level. They right there in the trenches. They're taking on a lot of other type of obstacles. And then once the person make it past them, and then they say, all right, I'm gonna find myself online searching even further into this truth. Then you'll run across SVDL. You'll run across maybe SAS Studios, something like that, where you'll start seeing all these other doctrines getting demolished. Because honestly, that's where they're created. The doctrines amongst the blacks are created online, where these people are getting all these informations and all these contrary ideologies. They're learning it from the web. So that's the place where that battle goes down at. Will be online.
Well, I really appreciate it, man. I appreciate y'all letting me up. Hey, Battle Axe, you coming back to the league?
No, I wasn't planning on it.
Oh, okay. Malak, you'll be back, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna come back through.
You'll be back. All right, man. Well, like I said, I hope to be able to build with y'all some more, man. So I'm gonna let you get back to your teaching.
All right, man. Shalom, man.
All right, peace.
All right, shalom, peace.
Thanks for showing up, man. All right, I had a brother showing up. Now, where we was at in the Proverbs, real quick. Let's finish up this Proverbs. So we at 8. Okay, he says a wise man will receive warning. Come on, Matthew. KJV. You constantly leaving me out there. All right. It says it will receive commandments, but a prating fool shall fall. All right. And it says, he that leads an innocent life walks surely, but whoso goes a wrong way shall be known. He, as an example, when it says that, like he shall be known, but he that perverts his way shall be known, you'll be as a living example. People will be able to look and see what and what not to do based off of how your life turned out. And he say, he that winks his eye, that would be somebody now that glares. You know, when somebody glares, or you know what I mean, they get real mad and their eyes get real squinted and they do that little thing. That's winking the eye. Watch this. It tells you about somebody that does something like that. That he that winks with his eye will do some harm. Me and my little brother, we got a term that we applied, and we took it from the book of George Orwell, 1984. It's a book about this government. But anyways, you read that book, and it was speaking about a thing called thought crimes. And you can catch people in the midst of thought crimes, and you know it, and you'll see it right in their eyes, and you be like, you know. And my little brother, he be on it. He back in the days, he used to be on it. Anybody thought criming? Hey man, I can see that you thought criming. What?
Yeah, he was on it.
You know, he was on it. Well, that's what the Bible is saying though. It says someone that sits around with thought crimes, you know what I mean? He said they will do harm. But he that has a foolish mouth shall be beaten. The mouth of a righteous man is a well of life, but the mouth of the ungodly is past shame and presumptuous. Evil will stirs up strife, but love covers the multitude of sins. So evil will stirs up the strife.
Yeah.
And when that brother was just on,
And that's what hatred is.
That'd be a good scripture to cover with these guys too. Some of these dudes, they got an evil will. They want to see all white people destroyed.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of them want to see what's it called too. They want to see black people destroyed too, because they've been out there for such a long time that they're discouraged in their people, and they moved on to another phase, which is all right. Well, then the hell with that. They need to be getting beat up on. They no longer want to reason with them and warn them anymore. Now they just want them destroyed. And you can hear it in a lot of their doctrines, a lot of their speeches. They really threaten how God is going to destroy them wicked Negroes. All the way to the point to where a lot of people be looking like, dang, man, they really going hard on the blacks, and everybody else, they kind of, you know what I mean? They still speak to them cordially. I'll be like, yeah, I see that too. All right. It's probably because they're frustrated with them. Like, I can imagine that they're frustrated with them. Yeah. So it says, evil will stirs up strife, but love covers the multitude of sins. In the lips of him that has understanding, a man shall find wisdom. But the rod belongs to the back of the foolish. The rod belongs to the back of the foolish. Wise men lays up knowledge. Oh, okay. To the back of the foolish, he deserves all the bad stuff that happens to him. He deserves it. He said, but the righteous, or the wise man, he the one that lays up knowledge. But the mouth of the foolish, that's the one that be near that destruction. So you got to be on point, man. You got to be really much on point. Wisdom is the main obstacle. My bad. Is the main objective. That's what we're supposed to be trying to acquire, is a wise personality, a wise characteristic about oneself. He said, the rich man's goods are his stronghold, but poverty oppresses the poor. The righteous labors to do good, but the ungodly uses his increase unto sin. And that's why you see, when you see all these people got their people, they got all those stimulus checks and all that stuff back then when they were handing out that money. What did all the ungodly people buy? Guns and bric-a-brac. But they really bought guns. A lot of guns was bought. And these same people now is harming themselves and getting themselves locked up over that same little increase that was given to an ungodly person. Look. It says, the rich man's goods are his stronghold. All right. But poverty oppresses the poor. The righteous labors to do good, but the ungodly uses his increase unto sin. That's straight Negro mentality to the 10th power. That's how you sum us up. Everybody else, they know what to do with money. They do other things to where the money comes back. They keep making more money, more and more money. The Negro doesn't do anything with money.
That's true.
We don't do nothing with money.
Man, they be buying crazy stuff.
My pops would call it bric-a-brac. That's what he called it. Things that was like that. Just useless objects and uselessness spending. He's like, man, you showed up with a bunch of bric-a-brac. You be like, bric-a-brac? You be like, yeah, man. Dude showed up here with spend all his money on some bric-a-brac. Ain't none of that stuff going to actually be sitting here a month from now. And you be looking at it too, you be like, dang, that's true. Might have a dustpan and a mop sitting around somewhere from all that. From that big splurge.
For real though. Well, at the end of the day, we don't make enough money. You know what I mean? So like we basically just trying to catch up. You know what I mean? Or try. It's not even catching up. You know what I mean? You're just trying to keep up.
Keep up with what?
You know what I mean? With the house.
With the Joneses. You're right. I'm looking at it. I'm like, he's right. I was like, yeah, we do be trying to keep up with them dang Joneses.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Keeping up with the Joneses, man.
We don't know what to do with money, so we just try to keep up with the Joneses. But none of our last names is Joneses where we come from. Where we come from, we didn't have last names like that. We're over here looking at our oppressor and choosing his ways. Every time we get some money. And it's crazy, you know what I'm saying? Because I heard something recently, somebody said, rich people, it said, poor people dress rich, and rich people dress poor. It said because rich people don't have the sense of compensation. They're not trying to compensate for what they think about themselves. Because a lot of Negroes, they know, you know what I'm saying, even though they talk pridefully and they think that they speak as if they the shizzle, in the back of their mind, let's be really honest, a lot of these people, they know that they under par. They know it. They know that when they were in school and they taught them about success and all these things and the thing that they imagined when they were being taught that, they had a certain image, a certain idea came to their head when the topic came up in school. And there was a point in time when they believed that they was going to actually be that person that actually fulfilled that successful role. And the expectation was very high. And these same people, they know that they nowhere near close though. So what they do is that they just compensate. Buy a fancy car, but live in an apartment complex. Got a brand new whip. Brand new too. Right off the lot. Brand spanking new Cadillac. Pulling right up to the projects. Because they compensate. So you say, dissembling lips. Wait, excuse me. Boom. 12. Evil will stirs up strife. That's what them brothers do. They angry. They actually hope that most of these people get destroyed. I know that. He says, nah, we passed that. Excuse me. We right here. 17, my bad. He said, 16, the righteous labors to do good, but the ungodly uses his increase unto sin. To take heed unto the chastening of nurture is the way of life. I believe it says correction. No, he is in the way of life that keeps instruction, but he that refuses reproof errors. In the Matthews, it says, to take heed unto the chastening of nurture is the way of life, but he that refuses to be reformed, that's the one that goes wrong. Dissembling lips keeps hatred secretly, and he that speaks any slander is a fool. Any slander, any dissembling lips. Somebody's sitting around there knocking. Somebody's sitting there going against the building up of. Like you'll see, I'm gonna go ahead and say you got that wicked nigga online named Judah Nazareth. He sits online all the time trying to dissemble Israel by constantly trying to tell Israelites that they're not Israelites. Right. And that he's an Israelite though. But everybody else isn't. You say something like, oh yeah, I believe in the New Testament. That's how you know that's not an Israelite. And then he got people behind him, rooting him on. Like, yeah, man, for real. You're like, that's a dissembling lip. That, like, what are you doing, man? We're supposed to be like assembling. You would think that we would assemble. I know that when Christ comes, there's gonna be some division and all that. But that don't mean that everybody on both ends of the table is in the right. Don't get it twisted. No. When you seeing these arguments popping off, one of them people is not every case, but sometimes of the cases, one of them people is a dissembler. They're trying to tear it down.
Yeah, that's why it says that there would be division because it's one side is right, one side is wrong.
That's right. You're right. They both can't be right, right?
Huh? They both ain't right. Only one's right.
Only one's right. So yeah, like, okay. So the dissembling lips and the slanderer, these are fools, and they're haters. They have hatred secretly. He said, where much babbling is, there must needs be offense. He that refrains his lips is wisest of all. So, babbling, we know what babbling is. Useless talk.
Yep.
That's why it's really emphasized in the scripts that in Isaiah 58 that when we do in the Sabbath, that we have to have a certain speech and we got to have a certain topic. We're not supposed to be doing and speaking upon any of the other things. I know that it's hard because we used to just, socializing and farting around and stuff. That's what Negroes do. We're used to that. We've been doing it all our lives. So when we get together, we still tend to do those things. But those things are the things that we're not supposed to do, especially on the Sabbath. I don't think that we're supposed to do, period. I'm the type of guy that I don't feel like there's ever a time to just, just talk about nothing or just start doing stupid stuff. It's just, I don't feel like it. I'm not into horseplay, and I'm not into empty conversations. Cheap talk. You spare me the cheap talk. He says, we're about to finish it up. He said, he that refrains his lips is wisest of all. We had 20. An innocent tongue is a noble treasure, but the heart of the ungodly is nothing worth. The heart of the ungodly is nothing worth, man. All right?
Yeah.
When you're dealing with people out there and you'll know when you're meeting somebody that's actually, they're just out there passing through in this little phase at the end. But this is really somebody that got their head on their shoulders. We met a couple of dudes last night like that. You'll know. You like this dude right here. They cool. They noble. I can see this person actually being an Israelite. That's some real stuff right there. But then in the same thing, then you'll see some other people that just there's nothing God about them. Ain't nothing God about them. He's passing by, and he just on some just went straight out worldly of this world, straight person right here, product of this world.
Or what's known as some nigga stuff.
They just be on nigga stuff. You see them? They ain't worth nothing. There's nothing worth for them. That's why, I be saying stuff like, I don't care about these people, or I don't care about that person. I don't care about all that. And I'm like, why? Like, because I've already seen, like, this is ungodly persons. These are ungodly people. I'm not going to sit here and become emotionally attached to this ungodly world. and their populace inside of it. Screw this world and the people that makes this place like this.
Huh?
Like,
I'm only here to warn.
Huh?
I'm only here to warn. I ain't here to care.
Gotta just warn you guys
because we know what areas, like when we go in the talking to people, we know where we going. We stepping right into hell.
You're going right into hell.
All right. Let me go try to help these people out.
Need a warning.
Some of them, man, they get up out of there. You know what I mean? They rise out of that. Like the Valley of the Dry Bones, man. Some of them become a part of that. You don't see it immediately, but then they'll start coming over. You know what I mean? You'll see them every week. They stop by and talk to you. The next you know, you never see them again.
Yep. Oh yeah. Some people take heed to the warning. They do. I said last night, we had two noble characters. You know what I mean? We had the dark brother and then we had the light brother.
And that sister too. 3. That sister that was in the back saying she be studying, she knows. I be studying. You know what I mean? I'm getting into that.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
She said, I'm just here to listen. She wasn't saying nothing. She was just sitting there listening.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, she showed up for beef.
Yeah.
And she ended up with some bread.
Yeah.
She showed up for beef and got bread and wine. No beef.
That's real.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot all about it. I don't even know why I slipped on that person. I did forget all about it. But yeah, he said at 21, he said the lips of the righteous feeds a whole multitude, but fools shall die in their own folly. So, and that goes perfect. Get out of here. A fool, and here. The fool, look at that. It said the lips of the righteous, they feed many. That's why they yell, in other words. They out there talking to a large group. We got to do the same thing. But it lets you know, though, but fools, are they going to die? They're going to die, you know what I'm saying, going wrong like this anyways, man. He said, but the heart of the ungodly is nothing worse. The lips of the righteous feeds a multitude, but fools shall die in their own folly.
Yeah, for the want of wisdom, man.
Yep.
That's a good one. Because these people be trying to think deep. They be trying to get deep. You know what I mean? But then they be confounded by the littlest things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, you tried to get deep. You know what I mean? Say, just for instance, like people that try to follow astrology, they're trying to get deep, but it's not deep at all. You be like, man, you just came up with, you just like start looking at quote unquote stars and call them this and saying this about that. Where'd you even get this from? Where'd you get these stories that you're coming up with? Come on, man.
For real. And it's crazy too because after that, the lips of the righteous, they do be out there telling these people, these same kind of people that you're talking about, they'll be getting that same message too. But that message is a correcting message. It's the righteous. It tells you which way you need to go.
That's right.
It'll be contrary to what they probably want to do.
Yeah.
So what they go do is they go and try to find their own version of wisdom.
Yeah.
And they go and they will find that in some other department, whether it's Christianity or
Muslims,
some other stuff. That's crazy. You know, a lot of people's responses to the information is rejected because of the correcting approach to the law.
Yeah, that reproof, man.
Reproof.
The wicked, man, hate reproof.
They actually do. They actually hate it. That's crazy to me. I can't believe it. Well, I can believe it. But dang, man.
Yeah, because it's them. It's them. That's the hate. They hate that they're being talked about. That's what it is. Like, you know what I mean? That's it. You know, instead of being like, they think that it's a negative thing that you're trying to help them out. They feel like that's what they feel like. They feel like you're talking about them, but you're not talking about them. You're just stating the obvious and trying to correct, and that's what they don't realize. Like, I'm just stating the obvious, man. I'm stating facts, and I'm just trying to correct you and help you out. This is not me trying to control you. This is trying to help you have a better life. You know what I mean? Help you make better decisions in life. Because ain't nobody else caring about y'all. You know what I mean? Because I'm doing this out of love. Ain't nobody else care about y'all. Let y'all do what y'all want to do. They don't care.
Right.
We coming out here trying to help y'all. That's y'all. Right. That's I mean, go against everybody in the world. They trying to help.
Right.
They want the kingdom of heaven. They want to be done with wickedness. You know what I mean? And the only way to get rid of wickedness, man, is to warn the people.
It's a warning.
Yeah.
You gotta let them know that you're going to receive some real negative results. Lessons for what you're doing. Even of the eating of the pork, everything's all fine and dandy, and it tastes all good.
Till it catch up.
Up until the day you end up with cancer.
Yeah.
Up until the day you end up with a stroke.
Yeah.
And you done lost 50% of the quality of your life overnight. Then stuff gets real.
Yeah.
But by that time, it's too late. It's too late.
Made a covenant with death.
The damage is already done. The covenant with death is already signed, sealed, delivered. And now, and now all of a sudden they want to change the way that they're getting down. But the body is already, you just destroyed your body. The scripture says that God will lay a stumbling block before you, and you actually will die from these things. And it's a shame that folks ain't afraid of that, man. It's actually a
scary.
Shame.
It's scary too. Like you don't know, man. This is your life you talking about. Yeah.
Oh yeah, God made existence on planet Earth.
Fulfilling that lust of the flesh, finna has, man. That's what they doing, man. They fulfilling the lust of the flesh. Yep. They have no self-control.
Exactly. No self-control. All gas, no brakes.
Yeah. No logic. No thing. They don't think.
He says at 23 or 22, right? He said the blessings of the Lord makes rich men. As for careful travail, it does nothing thereto. What does it say?
I can't see it.
It is a sport to a fool to do mischief.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I thought you was at 22.
Oh, the blessing of the Lord, it makes rich, and he has no sorrow with it. No.
Yeah, the Matthew said a little bit more than that.
I'm like, what are you talking about, KJ? It said the blessings of the Lord makes men rich. As for careful travail, it does nothing thereto. That is a message.
Careful travail. What is that? Okay, when it's saying as a careful travail, that means people that's trying to, you know what I mean, take on things cautiously. What is that saying, Finhas?
Yeah, striving really, really hard. Being really, really attentively focused on trying to become rich.
Calm.
That right there does not make you rich.
Yeah, you know how many people we see? That's a black people's slogan. They try to get rich quick schemes, man. And it never works. A lot of these people put their life into basketball, football, rapping. You know what I mean? Not many, only a small percentage of these people that's actually doing that actually get to those places.
Yes. And they
whole life.
Right. And a lot of people go through this careful travail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really, really mindful of trying to become rich. and they never become rich
Facts.
because they don't realize that these things are ordained by God and only God, and He does it for His own reasons. Sometimes He'll cause some people to become rich to destroy them. A lot of rich people died in their 50s, in their mid 40s. You're gonna look at the lotto curse. There's really something out there called the lotto curse.
Mm-hmm.
That it's definitely eyebrow raising to find out all the similar scenarios that is attributed to the people that won the lottery. It's crazy.
Look at the COVID curse, man. That's a new one, man, that nobody knows about. That COVID curse, man, the stimulus checks, man, what good thing for, putting it into the black community just off top. Them people's minds are destroyed, man. Dudes went and did all types of stuff with that.
Right.
A lot of deaths went up and everything, man.
Everything went up because of that. Now we over here paying over $5 at the tank for 1 gallon.
Yeah, giving that money right back.
You put a dub in there, and it don't even put you to a quarter no more.
No.
I'm like, dang, man, what's going on? Food is just through the roof. Food through the roof. Makes a big difference now going into the store. What used to be $150 is now $300. Food almost doubled, man.
God.
All right. We at 23. It says, a fool does wickedly, and he makes but a sport of it. He makes none but a sport of it. Nevertheless, it is wisdom for a man to beware of such. What? A fool does wickedly and makes but a sport of it. Nevertheless, it is wisdom for a man to be aware of such. You're supposed to be aware of such people that do wickedness and they just make a sport out of it. They commit sins. Like literally for fun. Not a big deal at all. And we got a lot of our people that's doing that, man. A lot of our people like that right now, man. They'll go to the club just to try to hurt somebody. That's the only reason why they showed up. They don't have anybody. They don't have an aim or anything. They just randomly hurt someone. Anybody look at them the wrong way or something that they don't like about someone, and they might take violence out on them. Like that's some BS, man. People chase around women. Just chase them. Could have been had a successful marriage years ago. Probably got a whole list of women they done laid with.
Man, could have been started that process like what scripture say. Once a man and woman leaves a house and moving together, that two become one. Could have been got that family started, man. It's on time.
You know,
you getting older and older, man. Your options is getting, sketchier and sketchier, man.
Yeah, that's real. The less and less chances that you're going to have a smooth relationship.
Yeah, the less chances you'll have a virgin.
It's going to be straight out, a bunch of history, and you might be dealing even with some baggage. You don't know. Like, and you will find out that one of these, and then all of a sudden it does like a plateau type thing. It just, or like it goes on a cliff. It just jumps off. You can get women. You can get women. You can get women. You can get women. You can't even get women anymore. Like what? Hey man, what they call it, father time or whatever. Been caught up to you. You bald. You saggy. You lost your luster? Now you're getting out into the dating scene. And you're 48 years old. You got... Our people are so self-destructive, man. They don't know what they're doing to themselves. And then you listen to the music, and the music is just telling you to go do it even more. And then you look at these music stars, and none of them is actually living like it, though.
Facts.
They actually have wives, children, families, stuff actually going on. While the whole time they was telling you, just play women. Women, just play.
There's a new movie though now.
Huh?
There's a new movie too. It's called YouTube, man. YouTube and like TikTok. Yeah, I mean, there's certain things on these platforms, like you were saying, not only like these platforms on you know what I mean, the internet that is destroying our people. You know what I mean? Because our people got a certain taste for certain things.
Right.
He's like, man, it's whack. He's looking at it like, this is whack.
Oh yeah, it sucks. You remember the last time we met? Last time I said people they don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is not really a topic that we bring up online because I already know people. They just we got people that are imputed and they're hard-hearted. But I'm just gonna say it. Screw it. We believe that we ran into Christ. You know what I'm saying? Multiple times. But honestly, the last time I remember him showing up, it was quite some time ago. And he literally said, I'm not going to be here no more. He said, I only stopped by because I seen you guys. He said, I seen you too. He said, but after this, he said, I'm not going to be here no more. He said, because all y'all want to do is hurt each other. He said, that's all these people here want to do. He said, I'm going to the youth. He said, but I'm going to a place where all they want, all they looking for is just a sandwich. And I was like, I know what he was saying. I was like, oh, he done over here. He ain't coming back around here no more. We're not going to see him in these streets no more. He literally moved on. He's like, I'm going here to Africa. And I was like, dang, man. And I still see it. I look for him all the time. Never shows up.
Yeah.
Never shows up. Nowhere even close now. And at the time when Christ was showing up, it was like all kinds of like it sounded like, you know, he was like sending angels and everything. We would talk to all kinds of dudes. We'd be like, oh, okay, right on, man. You hear how that dude was talking? He'd be like, yeah. Now, nothing happening. A bunch of just crazy people everywhere. That's really what's going on right now, man. So that's the reason why you might see a lot of these brothers too starting to seem like they're getting frustrated. Is things is changing. Something's changing. And what we have shown over here in the United States has said enough. The dudes that are Israelites, they are already Israelites. The dudes that are hell-bent on wickedness, they heard about the Israelite. They know that they got to keep the commandments. They don't care though. They just chose not to. And yes, I know there's still a few of them. So there's always still people out there that go out there and wake up and still attempt to try to, you know what I mean, bring to the knowledge of the truth. Until it's over, it ain't over. But yeah, like that whole grand awakening thing, I don't see that anymore. I don't see like a big large awakening. I see now the same dudes that been Israelites are now becoming more powerful Israelites. And the churches will always still grow, the congregation will grow. But at the rate that it was at first, I don't see that. I see something else happening. Like the brother that just got off the platform mentioned, he said he sees a lot of arguing and a lot. So I'm like, yeah, I do see that too, though. But Is that always a bad thing? Is that actually a bad thing? If we step back and look, we see that maybe not. Maybe this is what is necessary. This is the phase. First, we had the awakening. What comes after the awakening is the reconstruction. And yes, show me a construction site that ain't loud and crazy. You know what I'm saying? Every construction site is loud. Every construction site, there's tools being seen, all kinds of action going down, a lot of sweat and vigorousness and everything going on at a construction site. It's going real. Well, that's where we're at now. Same thing. We're no longer just trying to wake up. Now we're trying to build this up. And yes, it's getting noisy. But after all the noise and all the dust settles, what you end up with is a dope structure that was put together. And that's what we're going to have, man. Let me keep on going. He says, the thing that the ungodly are afraid of shall come upon them, but the righteous shall have their desire. How far do we carry that? How far do you carry that? That's all determined upon the person. All right. You don't want to ask them. All right. If you want to ask them, I'll say. But you don't want to ask me. You say, well, what do you think that means? Somebody, if you fear going into slavery, or you fear being burnt alive, or you fear having a family killed in front of you and you hauled off as a captive in a POW, or whatever, man, or you fear you get a disease, or you fear that you die from AIDS, whatever it is, one of them things will come upon you. And because you're wicked. That's for the wicked. But for the godly, for the righteous, those same dudes, whatever that we imagine, like when we imagine is a big kingdom, we imagine, me and myself, golden crowns and subjects and happiness, maybe even, longevity, extra longevity of life and better health. Maybe even have superpowers, all that stuff. I'm with all that. That's what I desire. The Bible says if I keep my law, statutes, and commandments, these things will be granted. Sounds like a good deal. I'm going to hold up my end to test this theory to see if it's true. If I keep these law, statutes, and commandments, will I actually get what I'm looking for? What I imagine, what I desire? Well, first thing first is you got to hold up your end. So you hold up the end, and then you look for the results. It says, as a whirlwind passes, so is the wicked. No more. But the righteous is an everlasting foundation. It says the ungodly is like a tempest that passes over and is no more. But the righteous remains sure forever. As vinegar is to the teeth, and as smoke is unto the eyes, even so is a sluggish person to them that send them forth. That's right there, something that we must know. This is very important in this lesson today. Do not be the sluggish person that gets sent forth. To be crying aloud and staring not, and lifting up your voice as a trumpet, and you are out there half-stepping. I'm saying this to myself also. I'm saying this to everybody. You're not supposed to half-step this at all. That be the reason why you see the Jehovah's Witnesses and the other quacks that be out there just, saying with the signs and the loud horn, just repeating the same phrase over and over and over. Because that's all that they know, really. They don't really have a long list of scriptures that they actually combat with. But whatever it is that they think that they know, they don't deviate from it. And you can't get a Jehovah's Witness to start talking to you about selling dope. You can't get a Jehovah's Witness to talk to you about the new J's that just came out. When you see them two dudes on that bike with them white button-up shirts tucked in their pants as they ride around on the bike with the helmets, them two dudes, they're not gonna talk to you about the new J's. You start trying to bring up some of that dumb stuff to them dudes is gonna roll out. That's just how they do it. Black folks gotta learn how to be like that too, man. We gotta learn how to stay on focus, on point, and do not be a sluggard. Alright? Do not be a sluggard. Do not be a half-stepper. Don't be lukewarm. It's either you hot or you cold. Either you actually really out there about going out there and doing that word, sending that message for God, or you're just not. But you got to make up the choice. You will be better off if by not being lukewarm, by not even being involved. No, I wouldn't say that you were better off, but that's just what the scripture said. I would say get involved. You do not want to be the person that's not involved. That's what I really would say. Don't be the person that's not involved. But if you want to be half-stepping, man, what you're really doing is you're corrupting the good part. You're not corrupting the bad part. And you may be giving the bad part a little bit more than what credit it has due. But nobody cares about all that. Especially when you are downplaying the real deal. When you half step in what is really supposed to be done the full way. You half step in that, you make it look weak. And then the next group of people will learn your behaviors and your approach and the way that you guys conduct your Sabbath. They'll learn that from you too. And then it'll get worse from there. Next thing you know, the Sabbath will just be something that's just completely profane. So everything has got to be really, really done professionally and wholeheartedly. Other than that, man, you get casted out. So you be like vinegar to the teeth. Take a mouthful of vinegar and go ahead and try to drink that down. Nasty. Go ahead and burn you some barbecue. And then when the smoke starts rising up, put your face right up in it and see hold your breath. And go put your face and keep your eyes open. See what it does to your eyes. Burns the crap out of them things, man. He said, the fear, my bad, He said, the fear of the Lord prolongs days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened. Or the years of the ungodly, according to the Matthews. He said, the patient abiding of the righteous shall be turned to gladness, but the hope of the ungodly shall perish. The way of the Lord gives a courage unto the godly, but it is a fear for wicked doers. The way of the Lord gives a courage unto the godly, but it is a fear to wicked doers. But that's, that'll be the reason why you might have some people that might second guess on what you're doing, or what you're doing when you go out and wake people up, or whatever you want to call it. I go out and call it warning the people. If you go out and you're going to warn the people, some people might be afraid of doing that. But it's because they had an ungodly life. They may not be ungodly, maybe even at that moment, but their whole lifestyle has been completely ungodly. So they're worried about get back, they worry about all these other things. If you was lining your ducks up right and you was doing things properly and you was being straight up to even people when you was gangbanging, you know what I mean? You might not even be that type of person that got to worry about all that type of stuff. But if you've been going out there doing all that stuff and pissing people off all your life, then yes, of course, you want to be one of them ungodly dudes that was doing too much. That's why they'd be afraid. Hey man, we need to go out there and stand out there in the corner. Shit, I ain't about to go out there. You go like, yeah, I already know. You probably got a list of enemies at that same spot. Yeah, I said it. He says, the righteous shall never be overthrown, but the ungodly shall not remain in the land. The mouth of the just will be talking of wisdom, but the tongue of the forward shall perish. The lips of the righteous are occupied in acceptable things. The lips of the righteous are occupied in acceptable things, but the mouth of the ungodly takes them to the grave. All right, let that be. I don't know, man. Matthew is just he said, the lips of the righteous knows what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaks for it. No, the lips of the righteous are occupied in acceptable things, but the mouth of the ungodly takes them to the grave. So we're supposed, like it says in Isaiah 58 and 12 or 13, it says that, actually in the laws, it says that let all your speech, in the laws it said let all your talkings be the laws, when thou comest in and when thou goest out. And that lines up with here on Isaiah 58, even when we are not even in our land, operating under our own government. He says, if thou wilt turn away your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words. Then shalt you delight yourself in the Lord, and I will cause you to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed you with the heritage of Jacob, your father, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. So with that being said, man, you gotta get back on point, stay focused. Make sure you keep those side comments and side conversations in check. Keep it biblical. Time is short, man. Why do we gotta do these things? We gotta do these things because the days are evil. All right. According to Ephesians 5 and 11, reading on down, it explains that clear. You do not have fellowship with the works of the ungodly, but you rather just reprove them, because the days that we live in right now is counterproductive to the bettering of black people. You ain't gonna go anywhere continuing the same stuff we've been doing, right? With that being said, I'm done. We went to 3 hours. I don't like to go much further than that. So if you got anything else to add to that, Akmalak Karam?
Yeah, Kal La Haba, Bashim Yashar, Bashim Wakadash. All praise to the Father, in the name of the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
I support that. I do. 100%. Calm. All right, y'all. Shalom, family. When is it set apart? Akmalak Torah. Battle Axe Spinning Halves. And the rest of the crew out there. You gone. Veronica.
Oh, shalom. Hey, end it with that 400 years. Who the house?
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
If you're playing, oh.
Seeing you, sir, what captures your fancy? This lounge is very brawny, huh?
How much are the ones Platt and Eliza?
1,000 for Platt. Oh, this is a nigger of considerable talent, I assure you. 700 for Eliza? My fairest price?
We'll take the ones Platt and Eliza.
Sold, Eliza and Platt.
Can you not say
For honey, for honey, for honey, for honey, yeah, they had the people living in captivity. For honey, for honey, for honey, for honey, yeah, they had the people living in captivity. Captivity, 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 captivity. So to the Europeans from the Africans, we were so had us on them ships, yeah, they had us on them cargo. Legs and arms and a hands chained to the floor. Superstar. Beat you till you turn the color purple, man. That beat you like Harpo. You can see the scars on my spine. Can you believe they had us on that boat eating swine? Single foul line, one nigga at a time. Come on, I need some water, man. My mouth getting dry. Master, but master, I don't know what he thinking, but he keep trying to fight. This nigga ain't scared. Make an example, cut off his neck, just so they remember it. Hang up his head. One getting sick, I can tell by that call. Calling on his knees, I don't think he can walk. Wasting my money, man. How much did he cost? Since he getting sick, just feed him to the sharks. Want nobody sick, we need strong men to make. With young ladies, more sex, more cradles, more kids, more labor. Then we gotta wait, cause as soon as they won't take the kid, no adoption now. Then we raise them up, get them strong as an ox, put them up for the auction now. Got some strong young bucks, that's some pretty bed winches. Guess pick an option now. This one work like a horse, bet you ain't never ever seen a nigga pick cotton. Yeah, we the children of God. All this happened because we didn't listen to God. Khazars say they real Jews, but they not. But they worshiping Satan's and a God. What's the Holocaust to a slave trade, man? You can't compare. They've been beating and killing us for centuries. I mean, for 100 years. Yeah, they had the people living in captivity. For honey, for honey, for honey, for honey, yeah, they had the people living in captivity. Captivity, 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 captivity.
400 years of silence, 400 years of violence, 400 years of trying to get it right, and still we having a challenge. Our bodies still getting damaged. Through Yeshaya, we still can manage. Gotta make sure we walk in the spirit, no matter the temptation on this planet. Yes, they whip us without a whip. Got our minds all up in their grip. They control us by pumping in fear. The media play a big part in it. They know how to play with all our emotions. Got you crying or make you smile. Get you mad and then they will show something that will have everyone calming down. They can make you hate somebody you never saw or never step foot in your sight. All they gotta do is show your picture, then make up a story about your life. You can be innocent, but they can paint a picture about you that is so wrong. As soon as you start going against the system, it's almost like saying so long. Look how many leaders failed and all they was doing was bringing truth. When you get too big for your environment, they don't want you to raise the roof. No, they'd rather be on the roof. Aim, squeeze the trigger, and then shoot. Leaving your brains and all of that knowledge laying right by somebody's shoe. They trying to set an example, like you better not do what he was doing, or you will end up just like him, with your family crying boo-hooing. They don't know that our power is bigger. We praising the Most High God. We are not a slave to this world. 400 years still going hard. Yes.
Now this is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind. This brother and I, we had the slave mind. We used to rob together. We used to sleep with white women. We even went to prison together. Now don't be surprised when I say we went to prison, because some of y'all still in prison right now. prisons of your mind. Stand up, brother.
Khan, Bahashan Yah, Shahid Mashiach. All praise to the Heavenly Father and His Son. All y'all out there that's going against Christ, you tripping.